Go, 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 go.
Hey, welcome back to Metropole Grid. My name is Andre. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's the 9th of July, 2026. It's a rainy evening here in Montreal. My stomach has been really bad all day. It's been quite a hassle. Hopefully we get through the stream. If we have to shut it down suddenly, you'll know why. We're like 40% there. How's everyone doing? It seems like it's a busy week in the world of Netrunner. There's a lot of stuff going on. If you're in the east coast of the States, there's the Cambridge megacities, I believe is what it is, which a lot of folks seem to be coming out there. Very, very exciting. I think this is the final megacity in the US and actually might be one of the last megacities ever. I feel like, or at least this season, I feel like megacities have to end around this point, but maybe I'm wrong about that. And then of course also it's the EMEA Showdown. This is the European time-coded showdown that Man in the Moon is running. These are always huge events. This starts at like 4 a.m. my local time. This local time I think is like somewhere in the UK is my guess. We might actually be streaming some of it. Oh, Bristol's next weekend. Okay, so there's more. Okay, there's more. We might be streaming some of it. I'm still trying to sort it out, but we might be streaming some later rounds on this channel on like Saturday morning for me. So we'll see how that is. But otherwise, you should be able to watch it wherever it is streamed, which I honestly don't confidently know. It's probably on Axu Netrunners, my guess. Side note, how does this list get deck of the weekend? Baserton did in Classic Scrubs Op Robbery. Hey, how's it going, Me3? It was surprising that Baserton's list did not win the deck list of the week, get the placement, considering I think it had very good interaction. But Wasteland, is Wasteland this weekend too? Or is it coming up soon? I know it's like, yeah, July 11th. It's probably this weekend. Hopefully you have a great time. Wasteland is such an incredible tournament. If you're in around on Toronto, around Mississauga, it's just the loveliest thing. How's everyone doing? Good morning from Australia. Hey, good day, Mental. How's it going? Hey, Boat, SRN, what's up? Andre is about to make people complain himself, feeling bad for rig shooting. It's okay. I mean, if the Lou decks are going to be softed, I think we'll do it to a couple of Lou decks maybe. But we have this like big, 67, is 6-7 better than 69 is like definitely a debate for the ages. They have a large barge with a radio antenna tower on it that they would charge up and discharge. Well, so how's it going? Chad, I need a corp card to build around for throwback. Film critic. It's easy. You build, say film critic, and then the whole format falls apart. You'll figure it out. Can I interest you in some guys? Hey, Chad, got any tips for beginners? Hey, Bbix, on how to play versus a Yuko. I've read a bunch of the responses, and I don't have too much to add. But a lot of the responses that people say, I think we'll just read them. So that's like, a bit more permanent on the internet. One of the things that people are saying is FUT is not as high priority as you think. And I think that is true. I don't think FUT is as high priority as you think. FUT is a card that's important because it's going to take cards out of your hand and give the corporation card draw. But technically, FUT probably doesn't have to get trashed the turn that he comes down. Unless they're presenting other problems and stuff like that. You have to keep in mind, like if a FUT has 2 counters on it, yeah, running centrals or running archives can be impossible depending on how many cards you have in your hand. But FUT is not the most important card, and Chad is calling out. The most important card usually is cohort. And maybe AUCO is a bit swingy in whether or not the cohort goes down, but cohort is just absurd because it gives them, you know, a card draw on 2 credits and puts something in archives, which is what they want to do anyways. Most of their games is putting things in archives, but then on top of it, because you've trashed a card from HQ, it gives them half a card draw on top of it, which is actually a full card draw on top of it. So this card is probably the most important. What list you're playing against, whether you have to deal like Bladderwort and full assets, or whether it's fast advance or hollow or measured or oppo, like all those are different variants, but this card is like the key engine piece in almost all of them. So I think that's really good advice. What Meether said, Fed is only dangerous if you plan on stealing it, or do you think you can score? Yes. Also running archives. I think I read a comment. Run archives more than you think. Yeah, archives is really important. I know that we've seen slightly different AUCO lists, but like ultimately Regenesis is the way that you lose usually because it's hard for them to score the normal way. We've seen some more like conventional fast advance 3-2s and all that sort of stuff. The idea is that checking archives is really important because they draw so much, they discard so much that they want to keep our agendas in archives either for benefit or just because they want to keep them there because they don't want to draw them. And so things like Regenesis, running archives also to turn off cohort flip. There's a lot of good reasons. Forcing them to moonpool early, user spin doctors early, like that stuff is really good. I also don't know if this like kind of works the same way that it did, but when I was playing AUCO when it came out last year, I felt like there was 2 kinds of AUCO games. Like one of the AUCO games was you played, I wouldn't say control, but you basically said, I'm going to stop your game plan. And all you did is you shut down everything that they were trying to do. You didn't have to poke centrals. You just kind of shut down everything, right? Like you trashed the cohorts, you trashed the futs. And eventually, even if they fire, even if you take incidental damage, they are drawing like 4 cards a turn. And then you realize like there's only 2 points in the score area. And then the game is in a really good spot where you can just run R&D with a twinning and dump it into an R&D and probably see 6 points in a 3-card access. That it happens somewhat not uncommonly, where you just basically get to the end game, and at the end game the agendas have to be somewhere if they're not jamming or scoring, and then like the centrals are just so dense you just say F it, I've done my job, and you just scoop centrals. I've seen games that are a bit more aggressive, and I think a lot of the AUCOs now are playing even more agendas, it feels like. Maybe it's about the same, but they're running like the 2-1, the hybrid release. And so like just having, you know, Lou and having Hermes gives you a bit more of an incentive to run centrals, because when you run centrals, it, you know, like explodes sideways off of their table. So I don't know, we're somewhere in the middle, but yeah, definitely running archives. Like not running archives is how you lose that matchup for sure, but running archives at the wrong time also is how you lose that matchup. I think it's FUT dependent. Don't run into unres dice for nothing. Always have a goal because you're giving them tempo for anemone. Yeah, or like just face tanking into a Boto. Turns out it can be bad. You'll see a lot of decks are running multiple of their breakers. We have to look at any card in your hand and understand, like, if I lose this card to errant damage, is the game going to be cooked? And then if that's the case, you have to install it. Again, you're running 2 of each breaker, so generally in most decks you're playing in the modern meta besides Shaper, and Shaper has recursion, so you have to be a bit concerned. But cards that are important are probably worth putting down. And of course, like, making all that make sense at the same time is the balancing act, of course. Hey, Penguin, finally catching a Thursday stream. How's it been? Evaluate your hands. Hey, Yisun. Evaluate your hand every turn to decide which card is a must install and which card is just hit points. Yeah, it's like AUCO's really interesting because it's not like a full hit point, like personal evolution pinata, where like any card can be evaluated as being better as a hit point. Because at the end of the day with AUCO, you still need to like produce breakers, kind of put pressure on at some points. But you need to have enough economy not only to get in through ice, but also trash things. So it's not like in the back in the day where like you had a sure gamble against personal evolution and you just wouldn't play it because it's better as a hit point. But it's also definitely not a deck where you want to install everything because you're probably not going to need everything, right? We'll see. Yeah, we'll see for sure. Can I interest you in a Blue Sun? MDOM Blue Sun make 14 credits. I don't even know if MDOM Blue Sun is that great. What is the thing? All you have to do is like basically pick one card. Pinhole Critic is fun. That's what I'm saying. You just Pinhole Critic. I don't know why Pinhole Threading doesn't have more strict by having less strict wording. So for those that don't know, Pinhole Threading has really strange words that are gonna like kind of have a pinch on Netrunner forever. It says run any server. If successful, instead of breaching the attached server, access a card in the root of another server. If that card is an agenda, you cannot steal or trash it during this access. This is not ambitious enough. This sentence should just be, it cannot be uninstalled. Like it should be as wide reaching as possible, because now if there's any card that doesn't steal or trash, you can actually mess with agendas. And there was a really important card from back in the day. So if you play Eternal, and technically Film Critic, Pinhole is not even that important in Eternal, but Eternal is its own thing. So Film Critic is a 1 influence, 1 cost resource that says whenever you access an agenda, you may host that agenda on Film Critic, and it's no longer being accessed and is uninstalled. And then you can spend 2 clicks to add the agenda to your score area, which means you didn't score it. And also if it has any bad on steal text, like additional cost, like say, I think Bologna is a bad example, like an SDS drone deployment or a Basalt Spire, you get around that text, which was much more valuable even back in the day, more than it is now. But the idea is that with Film Critic on the table, if you're playing this, you can pinhole threading every single agenda, because it just says you can't steal a trash. It doesn't say you can't host it. That's also why, like, to some extent, Encapsulation also says it has to be a non-agenda card, because in theory you could do pinhole Encapsulation if that said that tags. I don't know. The fact that this doesn't say just can't uninstall, it would be less intuitive on the read, but it would be way more helpful for future design, because you can no longer have a card like Film Critic, because it'll just break it for sure. Eternal's all killer FA from what I could see. There is like Glacier decks for sure, and there's Rig Shooter. It's wider than I think you think. Zelty, how's it going, by the way? It's just like this sort of fair interaction is not what it's about, because there is, you know, not that many or not that commonly that there are agendas on the table that you actually could pinhole Film Critic, because you're right, it's way weirder for that. Noobs and nerds, woohoo! At work, I'm gonna be listening in while doing handy maintenance work. Sydney, Medica City tomorrow. Won't be going, but gonna be big for OS players. Oh, sick! So there's a lot of stuff this weekend. I think, like, I just checked the ABR and it didn't seem like there's that much this weekend. But maybe there's so much this weekend that it's bleeding over to the next page. Cause like, yeah, no, it's right here. I mean, that's on me, I guess. That's on me. That's sick. The Australian events seem like they've been absolutely incredible. I'm assuming Darlinghurst is a suburb of Sydney. That's the Crim game plan, except you don't install twinning because it's too expensive, IMO. Hey, it's the grid. Pinhole Critic is mid in Eternal. Film Critic is great, but Pinhole's okay. So no, I don't think it's good in Eternal. It's just something you can do that when you show people about it, they're like, wait, that's pretty weird. To be fair, Film Critic is the bonkers card in this interaction. I don't know. I don't think it is. Like, I think you could print a Film Critic card like today, and it wouldn't be super messed up. In fact, Film Critic right now in Modern Standard is probably the worst it's ever been. You probably would have issues with Pinhole, but the idea is, like, I don't know if I'd actually spend influence on Film Critic. It's not even that great. Cannot uninstall would be really deeply unpleasant for me to implement, so I'm glad it doesn't say that. Also, the most recent Eternal tournament was won by Wayland Rush. I don't think they're going to print another card like Film Critic. We have Whistleblower/J. And he does it to stall the game. The best deck right now in Eternal might be Reg Jinteki Glacier. Yeah, what would that be? Like Mati, I guess? If it blanks Basalt and Fuji, I think that's good enough. Yes. Basalt is like, honestly, I don't even know if it's good enough. I don't think blanking Fuji and Basalt is good enough. Spend an influence on this card and then have to spend 2 more clicks. That's kind of expensive. I think you need slightly more than that. Speaking of slightly more than that, this is a 67 card deck. So this is from Cyberspace Panda, who won the APAC AMT with this. I think it was a relatively small AMT. It was APAC time coded. I believe Cyberspace Panda is from APAC, which is pretty sick. This is 67 cards, and for the last little while, we've been seeing bigger and bigger op decks do pretty good. The deck I think this is like referencing is the other version, the Baserton version, which I think we can just find it here. Heavily inspired by Resentment. We didn't get to play this deck on the channel, but it's 64 cards, so it is slightly smaller. Ideally, your deck always should be some divisible of like 5-1, because that means you're playing the fewest agendas per card in your deck. So that's also the weird breakpoints. And you'll notice this deck has 9 agendas and 64 cards. So it's like, what, 1 in 7 is an agenda functionally, right? 7 times 9 is 63, I'm pretty sure. So like that's rough. Like the math of how many agendas you have to put in your deck for your deck size, especially when you're only playing 5/3s, usually kind of plateaus around 24 points. But the bigger you get, it doesn't get worse. Like it kind of gets about the same. And so it's really hard to win off singles in this deck, because again, there's only 9 agendas and 64, and your opponent has to steal 3 of them. That's pretty ambitious. Now, the numbers on this are a bit higher. We're at 67. We could be 69 and have 2 non-agenda cards, and we're on 10 agendas. So again, it's like 1 card in every 6.7. 1 agenda in every 6.7 cards. And again, the runner has to steal 3 of these. There's no way they don't win on 3 steals, but it's 3 steals for sure. Now, I don't exactly know why this has been happening for op decks. Op recently has been catching a whole lot of bans, and Extract was the big ban in the last little while, and Extract was a very important card for a lot of like middle of the road, conventional, good performant op decks, because it was a card that gave you 6 credits and allowed you to fire your ability whenever you wanted. If you're not familiar with op for some reason, it's this pretty large text box, as much as it is relatively intuitive once you see it once. It says once per turn, when you trash a thing that's rezzed, you can go get something from your deck that's 1 cost less, install it, and res it for no credits, which is really good, because whether you can fire that off of your own abilities, or you just have cards that naturally destroy themselves when they're done or they've used their thing, you can just get another card from your deck. And a lot of times you'll see decks like, well, any deck, but like decks like this as well, that are running a lot of 1-ofs. And the idea is that we are a toolbox, right? We have 1 copy of Flagship. Can you get it when when you need it? Yeah, you can, as long as you can trash a forecaster. How many Hollow-Men do we need for that to be a win condition? And it turns out just one, because we can get it when we need it. So there's like a bit of an upside here to playing the 67 card deck. It is a bit more consistent than you'd like think it is. The win condition on this is like not a combo deck. A lot of times when we classically saw big op, it was combo big op, and the combo was like play a mutually assured destruction with a lot of res upgrades usually and some ice, give the runner a lot of tags, and either kill them next turn with the tags or combo out and kill them the same turn. Now that deck, I don't know how bad it is right now. Extract was important in the deck, but I don't know if it's the most important thing. But these decks, at least I watched Baserton play this list on a live stream. I forget from which event, but like Baserton played this super slowly, super like just fundamentally. I think he was playing it in Germany at a mega city. Yeah, it was this first at Berlin mega city. This one was streamed. It was great. And it just was like every turn, put down an ice, click for credits, empty the regolith, get credits, and then only started scoring out like maybe pretty late on. Is playing against I forget the name of the player who was playing against this, but I believe they were playing like an aggressive, either it was a Lou or a Seb. I think it was a Lou, but like Virus Audrey Lou, and just kind of like choking her out of like getting the accesses and purging. And for a deck that has 3 viruses, like I don't want to be the Virus Lou in that matchup anyways, let alone with the Zato City grid, which is hard to interact with. But it was like very slow, very fundamental. And the winning line usually is not scoring 9 agendas, or sorry, 9 points of agendas. You score 2 agendas and then play a Myoshu. That's what I saw. On top of that, we have 2 measured and 2 measured in 64, or like, well, what are we on? Are we on 3 measured here? We're on 3 measured in 67. Seems a bit ridiculous. Obviously, we have Basalt Spire, and if we score that, the measured can be played multiple times, but that's your other backup win condition. So it's either like play a Hyper Glacier and then just like grind out. Of course, we have like strong ice. We have really strong ice. Like we have BOX in here, which we're actually just hard resing for 14. Like we're not forfeiting for an agenda for this unless it like wins the game on the spot. You are literally just paying 14 for this and hoping that's good enough, which it might be. Of course, you have Stavka, you have the half run trick. So if you haven't seen this, this is the staple for op, and it's been pretty upsetting ever since it's come out. But the idea is that when you res Stavka, you can trash a card, and then when you trash a card, you can go get a half rune if you trash the 3 cost, and half rune just says you can't use your killer, which means if you can't use a killer, you've just hit a Stavka, 2 more programs get destroyed, and that's it's pretty bad. Usually BOK is a Samres. Okay, cool. Yeah, I guess there's 2 standard messages. I think I saw Baserton just like hard res it for 14. I know that did show up though. Baserton won 2 mega cities with big op. Yeah, I think I watched one of them, and it was like pretty fundamental, like reasonable middle line play. It was good. 6-7 Kappa. 6-7 Kappa. It's not just Fuji blanks, but also FUT. Oh yeah, it's true. It does blank FUT. Yeah, because he didn't steal. I mean, that's cool. Technically blanks her what's Revanchula 2, I guess. I mean, it's neat. I don't know if it's good enough, but it's neat. There's more to Eternal if I'm thinking I'm doing it pretty good. There's a chance I'm going to get a paper Netrunner City. I'm very excited. Yo, that's 6 LT. Hopefully that works out. Fabio topped again with a version playing Kimberlite Field. You said that, but A op thins and B when agenda scored or stolen, the density shrinks less. Yes. So the density shrinking less is something that I only recently kind of like picked up, and it's something now that I like find so fascinating, and it's worth taking a minute to talk about this. And I learned this entirely from Spike Biased, which Spike Biased is really good. This is Tuno's blog where it writes about Netrunner and how to get better at Netrunner, and the writing is really good. The ideas are really good. I cannot recommend this enough. It's linked in the description. But there was a whole article that was talking about self-correction, which is not something I've heard anyone talk about in card games, and it's something that's fascinating, but it's kind of unintuitive in weird ways. So the idea with like big decks are bad, right? Like big decks are bad, period. As much as we've seen some very competitive big decks in the history of the game, but technically like big decks are bad, period, is a sentence we've heard in a lot of card games. And the idea is the bigger your deck is, the less consistent it is in drawing and doing the thing you want to do consistently. On top of that, you can just like abstract the way and say like there's one best card in your deck. And if you can consistently get to the best card in your deck less often because your deck is just bigger, your draws are on average worse. You're not getting your best cards. You're drawing, your 50th worst card in a 50 card deck. That is the idea, right? Now, there's a bunch of decks you've seen for a lot of reasons that are better at bigger deck sizes, or at least functional bigger deck sizes, either because they have enough card draw to get around that, or because they're toolboxy, or because the format just wants you to play more cards for one reason or another, or you have a shelf life based off of how big your deck is. Like, there's a bunch of reasons. But one of the things that really stuck out to me with this like whole self-correction thing is how problematic big decks are for self-correction. And you can feel this. And behind you, we see all these screenshots of like kind of really cursed hands. Some of them are game winning, it turns out, but other of them are just like terrible. And they're really, really bad. And with these sort of big decks, you can draw bad hands, and bad hands just don't get better from that point on, usually the same way small decks do. And the short thing with self-correction is the bigger your deck is, when you draw an agenda, generally in any card game in Netrunner, if you draw an agenda, you draw a land, you draw an ice, you draw an asset, the chance of you drawing your next card to be the same kind of thing goes down, right? That's the idea. It's like mana screw or mana flood. I'm not a Magic player, but the idea is if my deck has X lands and I draw a hand of only land, the idea is that my next card draw was probably going to fix that hand because I've drawn so many lands. It's less likely that I'll draw another land, right? And so a bad hand will fix itself relatively quickly because it's less likely to draw the thing that's already in your hand, right? That's pretty intuitive, straightforward. The problem is with a bigger deck, that power to self-correct your draw based off of how bad your draw has been so far is so greatly diminished. It's so greatly diminished in a way that like I know I've always felt this playing Bangoon, and the math behind it like supports it very, very obviously. So the idea is like, say that I have a deck of 10 cards and 1/5 of my deck is agendas. So there's 2 agendas in 10 cards. I draw 1 card off the top of the deck. It's an agenda. Okay, I don't want to have agendas on turn 1. Let's say that's what we want to do. We don't have agendas. From this point forward, if I draw a card from my deck, it is there's 8 non-agendas and 1 agenda, right? Because I drew 1 agenda out of my deck. I drew technically half the agendas out of my deck, but now my next draw is so disfavored to be an agenda, right? And that's intuitive, right? I have 10 cards, 2 of them are agendas. I draw an agenda. My next card, I could bet good money is not an agenda. That is because I have a small deck. It's relatively intuitive. The problem is that falls apart once you have a big deck. So say that we have the same ratio of agendas to non-agendas, and I have a 100 card deck instead of a 10 card deck. It's 10 times bigger. Now my deck is 20 agendas and 80 non-agenda cards. I top deck a card, it's an agenda. Shit, I don't want agendas. I want to draw my next card. What's the chance that I'm drawing an agenda as my next card? And the answer is basically still 1 in 5, right? It's literally the same odds, just about. Okay, I shouldn't use the literally. It's basically the same odds of drawing my first card as an agenda as my second card as an agenda. And my odds will be the same until I draw so many cards. Because at this point, I'm not drawing, 1 out of 8. It's, what is the math now? It's like 80 and 19. It just doesn't shift well, right? Like you feel the difference of self-correction way greater with a smaller deck. So the idea is if I draw 3 agendas in a row with this deck, the chance of drawing the next card being an agenda is still almost equally as likely as drawing an agenda on turn 1. So bad hands usually don't fix themselves naturally the same way a smaller deck will. If you play a 44 card deck like PD and you draw 2 agendas in your opening hand, you're way less likely to draw more agendas in the next couple draws. Self-correction is fascinating and it makes bad things worse. And it just means that no, you should not consider what your next draw will be on your first draw because your deck is just too big for that correlation to be significant enough to experience. It's weird. I like that a lot though. It's a really cool point. Read the article. The writing is really quite good. I actually don't think the tutor is the biggest reason this deck goes over min deck size. It certainly helps though. Oh, I'm not saying exactly that's the reason to do it. I think that's the reason you can get away with it. I'm not 100% sure why Op is doing big deck all the time. And I think there's a chance that you just need to have enough things that fire Op's ability inherently without using cards like Extract. Maybe there's something wrong with that, but the idea is that we need enough econ, we need enough cards that will trigger Op, we need enough things that Op can get for the chains to make sense. And losing 3 extracts means we both lost a bunch of strong econ cards, but then we've lost a bunch of ways to find a way to fire our ability. And so it was not common to see decks that had 3 regoliths. They usually had 1 regolith or 2 regoliths, and they got it consistently. But now finding the regolith and making that fire up, maybe that's a bigger part of our game plan. So we're playing 3 Antil, 3 regolith. Sometimes you did play 3 Antil. So I don't know. I feel like it's something to do with that, where it's just if you want your deck to do everything that it wants to do, it just does get too big. Maybe that's not what it needs to be. Which runner can get away with breaking this principle, if any? In the modern meta, I couldn't tell you, but classically in the meta, there was a lot of good examples. Worlds was one, if I'm not mistaken, by a 60+ card Max deck, and Max just had free card draw. But the downside of Max is that she will run out of cards. And unless you're in a meta where you have a card reset card like Levy Era Lab Access or classically Ashen Epilogue, which they're both not in the standard format, you would just play a slightly bigger deck and be like, okay, now I have 2 extra turns, so 3 extra turns before I burn out. I think I can get to a relatively stable board state where that's fine. That's okay. Mulch Hoshiko, we used to see Hoshiko that could run 3 copies of what's it called, the Price. They could run 3 copies of back in the day moshing, and so your card draw was so explosive We also saw again like anarchs that could bring all their breakers in from the bin. So just like trashing through your deck at instant speed was like kind of the faster, the better thing to do, the optimal thing to do. And so there was a lot of times you could get away with playing bigger decks there. I think there's an argument too that I've heard this is like Moosely Hot really needs her ability to fire more than like 60%, 70%, whatever you want to say, for this deck to feel consistent enough to not just like miss it on the first 3 turns of the game and be playing functionally blank ID. And one of the only ways to fix that is play more run events. And then your deck gets above 45 cards, because you can't seemingly make a functional deck of just icebreaker and runs with having enough everything else that you want to have in the deck while having a hit rate that is good enough to feel good about. So like I do think that's why we ended up with like 50 card Moosely Hats and stuff like that, where like the extra 5 cards were just more run events or icebreakers just to make Moosely Hot fire more consistently. Whether that's optimal or not, I couldn't tell you, but I understand the logic behind it, and I think people were doing that for that reason. Slow ops want to be big because they don't self-correct. As the game goes long and you fire op a lot, you remove a ton of non-agenda cards, and a normal sized deck, your R&D will correct into agendas. And without Extractor's Fee slow, op is all that really viable. Hey, Cold Lava, how's it going? Are you playing this weekend? I do think like the speed at this op plays is the thing that we should be like focusing on as well. Because you're right, a lot of op decks were very fast. They were pushing themselves forward. They were rushing to the remote server as soon as possible. They're getting off that regolith, that first antil, and then they were like, you know, Hollow Man racing out. And this deck should not do that from what I've seen. It's really quite slow. Again, install a nice click for 2 credits or to hit regolith twice was like a very common play pattern I saw from Baserton. And that does like kind of want you to play a bigger deck. It's like not too dissimilar to this, but also like when we saw Sokka win Worlds with Build to Last, Sokka was playing 49 cards Built to Last. And I think it's because the way that Sokka plays, like Sokka likes that sort of like gradual play, that sort of like methodical play. There was not a huge incentive to play 44 cards. I don't know. It was also the agenda suite to some point. It kind of forced him into 44, I think, or out of 44. But I'm not 100% sure. World Tour always sounds fun. I'm bummed I'm too late to the game for it. Oh yeah, that's a really big one too. I guess Chad's probably shouting that out. But in Eternal, there's a World Tree list that's 100+ cards that is winning tournaments. It's a very, very, very good deck. And the idea is if you have World Tree and you can get World Tree consistently, it doesn't really matter how big your deck is, besides how it impacts your mulligan. Because once World Tree's on the table, you're kind of good to go. People in chat are probably talking about that. Gregolith mining license. Lou and Seb do it. I mean, I feel like Lou does it and Seb do it, but I don't think they should. Like, I honestly don't think they should. I think the best Lou decks we've seen in the modern meta are 45 cards, or sorry, 40 cards. Actually, they are 45 cards, it turns out. But I think that's also just like, it's hard to put everything you want in 40 cards. And also for what it's worth, we're in a meta where like, you can get ground out. Like you can. So like, you also have some reasons to play bigger than that. How is Ashen the classical deck reset option against Larla? Wait, sorry, Soul here? I miss it so much. Give me my baby back. World Tree? Yeah, I'm playing this weekend. Good luck out there. It's gonna be a fun tournament. 65 card World Tree Ari is my emotional support deck. I can't believe SPT would take it away from me. This deck can rush if it has to, but it shouldn't. I haven't seen it do it, but yeah. Well, I mean, Sokka played 49 just because all the law above the law was bust out. Yeah, I think he said in the write-up specifically, so he really wanted to play this card, and otherwise he would be playing 6 3-pointers and playing 18 points, but this brought him naturally to 49. Yeah. Using World Tree looks complex. It is. Luckily, when you play on JNet, it shows you the list of all the things you can get. But obviously, it's like a high complexity card and a high complexity thing where you have to know the matchup and know what you should get in what order. But like, if you want to watch Eternal and watch people play where they have 2 World Trees on the table, both firing, it's like very, very, very interesting. Netrunner. It's weird. It's not for the faint of heart, especially in paper where you have to search your deck twice a turn. I think Seb has too many draw order problems before to go big. Yeah, I would not play big in Seb. Seb feels like an engine deck. I don't think I want to play a lot of cards in Seb. If you ever want to play against Janet, I can keep up to date the unbanned World Tree list ready to go at all times. Yeah, I don't think they can ever unban this really. And I think they just continue to print more cards that kind of mean you can't unban this. I guess Coalescence was out at the same time World Tree was legal, wasn't it? But yeah, I'd be surprised if they do unban it. It's so weird. It's like this card was in the format for a long time, and then it wasn't a problem for a bit, and then it was a problem, and then everyone's like, wait, this is such a problem. This should never come back. People say classically to refer to the old school way of doing things, and Larla predates Ashen. Oh, yeah, sure. I meant classically as the opposite. I mean, like, more modernly, more relevantly, I probably should have said. Where's Pat? He's got no excuse. He's on vacation. Yeah, you're right. He has no excuse, but like, once a week, come on. That's good enough. What was the card that got banned? Yeah, we had it for a bit. Look at the Green Paradise and tell me World Tree was the most problematic card in the deck. It wasn't. Is the deck called Green Paradise? Because you're going to say that there's a more problematic card in a deck than World Tree? Paradise in Slovenian means tomato. I want everyone to know that. You know, the World Tree is a problem. The best part of the Green Paradise was the Dune memes. That's woo, it doesn't count. It's Arson on this one. Trick Shot? No, it's not Trick Shot. This deck was fine before Trick Shot. Trick Shot really helped though. Yeah, there's a whole history of this. I know I published a World Tree deck at some point. But yeah, this sort of idea, right? Like the 63 card Arasana deck. A Trick Shot's obviously quite good. Look at the number of exclamation marks. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. We played the good cards. Yeah, but like that's gonna happen. Yeah, Tech Tree. Eric, how's it going? Yeah, we had a list that we published called Tech Tree, which like I don't want to say, oh, it's actually here. Whoa, wait, Jai says my deck is excellent. Thesis, World Tree Ari has been a known deck of the standard format for a while now, ever since Mr. Metropole himself showed off the excellent Tech Tree back in the TII meta. Yeah, that was a while ago. And like this was built for fun. Oh no, this is a video. Hold on, the deck list is somewhere. But yeah, this version of the list, shout out to the Tech Tree name, which was Eric Hyden's name. Yeah, this version of the list was built more for fun than it was for competitive success, because that's what Mr. Streamer does. So for instance, like this is a World Tree deck that had Class Act, because you could get it consistently, which is good fun. It had Knob Curry, because I wanted to play viruses, because we could get it consistently. It had like an Imp, which, mind you, imagine that this was basically what's it called, Gourmand that never emptied. Really quite fun, doesn't draw cards. And then you played Amakua with Knob Curry. Like this was the fun version of it. And this was also based off of like D's list that was quite good a while ago. But yeah, a lot of these ideas kind of just compounded on each other and then eventually got out of control. I did really enjoy playing Tech Tree. Yeah, Tech Tree was like this, but like specifically playing wilder cards because you could get away with it. This is obviously way more optimized, and it continued to get way more optimized, and eventually just got banned out for being good. When it got refined and refined down, I quickly learned to loathe it. Yeah, me too. Me too. The fun was the fun, it turns out. The fun is the fun. Hey, I always say my sources. Thank you, Jai. I very much appreciate that. The cooler but less cute Gourmand, that Imp. I mean, the original... I remember the original Imp being quite cute. Okay, this Imp I actually like a fair bit. I'm not always huge on the system update cards versus the originals, but the original Imp was like very cute, very, very good looking little guy, right? Like, look at this handsome fella. Ooh, yeah, good orc vibe. Definitely good orc vibe. I like this one too. It's so funny that the premier and most iconic Crim AI, the only one that they ever played is one influence. I mean, it's good that it got splashed. It was a fun card to splash. Gourmand's a little guy, and that's the best part of it. Yeah, OG Imp is cute in monstrous way. OG Imp is rough and tumble. Yeah, hungry. I like the update Imp. I think it calls back to ONR Imp. Yeah, I don't mind the update Imp. Like usually update, but it didn't have my favorite version of a lot of art. But this one I was into. I like the burning head thing. That's cute. Show the OG Dude Imp from ONR. Well, the OG Dude Imp wasn't Imp. Like, it was called Imp, right? But it was a daemon. Was it actually called Imp? The Dude Imp? Oh, this is not a good idea. We pulled this up on the channel somewhat recently. Yeah, the Dude. But this thing is a daemon and like literally doesn't do Imp stuff. It was a good card in the game from my understanding. It's a zero cost program that could just host 2 MU of other programs for free. And they have their strength reduced if they're icebreakers, but they don't have to be. Update Steve I much prefer. Yes, he looks like he is more interesting. Stink Door was weird though because it looked more like a passport. That was not great. Yeah, the Stink Door versus Passport was a bit too close. I think that's the only time that we've ever seen 2 Netrunner arts that looked way too similar to one another, which is either good coincidence or just like very good. You know, somebody saw that coming and it's like, oh, we have to fix that. I actually assume it's the latter. I wish the internet looked like that these days. I mean, you can do it. You can like get some sort of plugin that just really gumbles everything up. All right, I think we're going to play this. I think we're just going to try and play this nice and methodically and slow. I don't think we're going to rush. We're just going to take our time with our large boat. You can, if you want to, play 69 cards and basically have less agendas per card. And I think we're told to play like another petty cache, another KPI, which like I kind of want to do that. But for the sake of posterity, we'll just play full 6-7 and go from there. I'm like mid excited to play this. Like I want to learn about it. Something alive internet theory. They're all imps. Oops, hosted upon one another. There's a lot of games tonight. I think people are practicing for all the mega cities and the showdown this weekend. Corp. Corp. It's Meteor. Let's see some ass. Yeah. You showdowning? You showdowning this weekend. Thanks, you too. Okay, so we have no economy in our hand. Zato's a hard thing for criminals to deal with because you can just throw a breaker at them. Okay, best of luck, eh? Gonna get my own reps in. Yeah, let's do it. So like it's okay. I don't know how much worse things can be. Like we have ice for HQ. Mind you, Az can just do boomerang transfer. It's okay if we can res something. Zato can only go in remotes. I have no experience with the deck to know whether this hand is good, but if we don't draw economy, I think it's going to be bad. We have 3 regular, 3 antil, a wall-to-wall, and then like 7 econ operations, so it's probably better than this. This is not better than this. You've seen screenshots of how much worse things can be? Yeah, but that's not on turn 1. That's on turn 5. And one of them, we actually won the game. All right, that's okay. Okay, so we're playing against Az. Az installs hardware cheaper and connections cheaper and technically jobs cheaper. That's not a real subtype. Okay, we have the spin doctor is not super important. We must have 3 spin doctors. Yeah, we do, but we don't have like a slash and burn, so it's not like our opponent has to contest it. We definitely want to get something on HQ sooner than later. We could play the hedge fund. The Mavirus can instant speed become ice if a boomerang comes down without Az tricks, and I don't think this is gonna be like a tricky Az deck. This is probably gonna be fundamentals Az, which Meteor's been playing for a bit. I'm okay opening with this. Like if it gets contested, so what? Winchester on HQ is better. We can do Descent for the remote server, so we'll just do this. Now, if they just face check without installing anything, Winchester's a bit shit, but it is where you want it because it's better here for sure. It's 6-7 because of boomer memes instead of boomer memes. Yeah. It's all memes. It's just memes here. 6-7, 7-6-9. It's like funny numbers. Good funny numbers. Sticking to the bit and like potentially running, you know, a suboptimal deck, I think is really cool. Like obviously it worked out. All right, so we're gonna put these 3. The Mavirus, we have to figure out what it can get. We can always respond to like a boomerang or something, but we have no true defensive upgrade that it can get. So if we want to purge the Mavirus, we can get like a Yakov, which is economy, which we can fire on top of the humanoid. Clean Gary Hermes, we could res the humanoid so it can't get bounced, but there's so few agendas in R&D, I don't think this is worth anything. Yeah, if anything, they bounce the ice, so like resing it's not worth much, unless it was last click. All right, so we can Mavirus here to get a Yakov, and then Humanoid can fire. I don't know if we're meant to go get a 2-cost here. Go viruses for Rego. We had the Humanoid, so we don't need to. Maximus gets Rego. Hey, Panda. Like Mavirus? Wait, is this Panda? Panda, how's it going? Congrats. So we're gonna keep it later. I mean, I'm cool with that. So I guess we're going for a Mitra because we already have a spin doctor. So we'll put that on server 2 because that fires our text. So we can install more cards. So we just want to go for a slow Rego. So we can do Rego on the remote server. We don't have to ice R&D really right here. So we'll just put the Rego in there. And then we're just going to put an ice on server 2. We haven't seen a Kur appear yet. I think Mitra is more a problem than I like the mid for Crim. Yeah, you can't boomerang the Mitra. You can't install the right breaker into the Mitra. We probably just go, like, we do want something chunky here. The logjam is not incredible just yet. I think I'll just go for the mask because it's cheap, but I don't know at what speed we're going to be doing it. We'll play the KPI. KPI is sick. We can install the logjam in R&D, which is fine. We are getting a bit flooded up, so I think we're going to start with the draw and then see what happens. I mean, that's not good. I don't know if we want to score the above the law that soon. Like, I don't know what speed we're meant to be pushing out. Because the regular is going to be in here for a minute. Like, I'm worried about boomerang into HQ because it's a 50-50 as much as this agenda can't be touched. So I guess we'll just put the logjam on R&D and hope that this turn we're okay. But I feel a bit vulnerable this turn. I think a different Panda. I haven't done anything worth congratulating. Okay, different Panda, but hey, congratulations nonetheless. But the law is easier to score. I would keep it. Yeah, we can always push it if we want to, and like they might not play around it. If it hits a twinning, I think that's our best target. Okay, Winchester actually threatens the Hermes. We do have Link here. This can get boomeranged, but there's gonna be 2 traces that matter. So the first trace is trace 4. This trashes the program. Nothing good here. Could have saved 1 by using KPI to install Maskey. We could have, yeah. I did not know what the whole turn is. I was going to draw and then maybe respond to it, but being 1 credit richer here is actually pretty reasonable. So this is trash a piece of hardware. We could spend all our money. Meteor has to spend 2 on this and then spend more on the next one. So Again, if you're kind of going into, you're paying 4 to get 1 back from Bravado and get an Axis. It's a... Whoa. Free Hermes trash. I mean, maybe we have another one, but was worried about the Hermes there. So we come a virus to get a 2-cost upgrade, but there's nothing here that matters. So we're just hoping that we hit the SDS. That's the worst case. Bummer. Okay. Off to lose the locals. Have a good obbing. Brandon, enjoy your locals. Yeah, Diogenes, yeah, I could have done that. I didn't plan the turn good enough. But yeah, this install could have been free. KPI does do that well. Okay, that tracks. That was also cheap, which is good too. So we have no reason to fire our ability here. That's good. We're just going to slowly empty the regolith. We haven't got pinhold yet. I don't think we have anything to do. At least the Hermes was around to mess you up more. Yeah, I mean, it did seem like he had a second Hermes because he didn't pay 2 to keep the Hermes, and he does have his second Hermes here. So yeah, there you go. What panda did you think it was? I thought it was Cyberspace Panda, who was the author behind this deck, who won the event. I thought you were this famous panda. But instead, you're just a different famous panda. Playing Leo Prison, how could I not have fun? Hell is other people or whatever. All right, I think Az is fired every turn, which is pretty good. The question is like, how soon do we find the turning wheel? Because that is the one thing we're not going to be able to interact with. Then getaway just for 3. Fine. Carmen. So Carmen does not do well with Winchester, but you can threaten to get in. If we do Regolith, we can go get a 1-coster. We could just get a Tithe on HQ, which Carmen does not love. We want to get an... Oh, we don't want to get an asset in here. I think we start with that. We'll see what the 1-costers are, because we can just jam another thing here. So we have Wall-to-Wall, Malapert, or Tithe. I'm just going to do a Tithe on HQ. It makes it slightly harder. Their Space Panda is cool. That's cool as that panda. So we'll get a free Tithe. I mean, it's fine. We can put the next card in remote server. I think I'm okay with the Anthill to get a bit of card draw, so we can just start plopping on some more ice, because we have the KPI for the ice. This does seem like we're weakened to HQ, but like this card is just fine. We don't have a huge incentive to ice up archives unless we're going to also destroy Spin Doctor to play around Pinhole. Courtiers here. All right, remote checking. So the Descent will end the run. We could res the Maskarovka, but we don't have Extract or anything, so like pre-resing our ice is not incredibly important. We also could Mitra, and like in theory here, if we had Stavka into Hafrun, we have the whole combo. Because we would just have a Stavka, throw them a virus, get an Hafrun, and blow out 2 breakers. Like if this is a Stavka, I wouldn't say win the game on the spot, but it is very quite good. The Courier charges on this. It breaks it for 4. If we just do the Descent, it ends the run. 4 for a counter is like not unreasonable. Yeah, I think we need to cost him some money. Res ice for Hermes. I mean, remote ice for Hermes is okay. Like, it's probably worth something. But with Mitra, it's like mixed. Yeah, I don't like saying that. You could balance. You could also pay 4 for a Courier counter. But again, if that was a half run, sorry, not a half run. If that was a Stavka, I wouldn't say we win, but it's a disaster for me here. I don't know what you have to do about that. All right, paying 4. Cool. Nope. Cool. Stay out. No tricks. I'm assuming we're on multiple pinholes as Az. Probably 2. Another class stack or first class stack? Sorry, we went through what's her name? A doctor first. So we can always bounce this if we need to draw cards. We have no huge incentive to. Boomerang can run this. The cool thing is you can't Boomerang the Descent. Oh, Wake. Wow. Okay. I'm glad that we played the Tithe here. So we're committing to running HQ repetitively. We'll res the Antil and get what we can from it. No. I mean, I think we KPI to shuffle this back into the deck and put an Afshar on HQ. Like 3 ice onto HQ is a bit silly, but like the Wake did just come down. And that's the best server for it. So maybe the Tithe was a bit too much, but we could draw here, then we could KPI. Yeah, I think I'm fine with that. We can put this out on the table. It technically is a must trash. We have the Regolith for the remote server next turn. We also could just like push the SDS this turn, which might have been correct in hindsight, saying like you can't get through the server and the threat of Mitra, which like the Mitra into the Afshar was actually pretty good. Maybe that was not great because we lose the Antil. Maybe we want to push next turn. We definitely want to get an Event Horizon or this Mavirus to be a Holoman. But even with this Mavirus, it could threaten out a never advanced SDS drone deployment. Like we can still do it here. So I think we'll just kind of complicate the board. Oh, no, we're not doing that. I think we're installing the wall-to-wall and then Afsharing. Yeah. We're going to use this to draw. I guess order was bad. So we can put the Venturize on the remote server next turn and threaten to score out. Again, I don't know how fast we... Sorry. I thought we were going to install that card. We shuffled it away. So we'll draw a card. We'll shuffle an SDS away. I don't know if we want to. They're not that unsafe in hand. And then we'll put this on HQ. So this one is weak to Hermes because tall servers are bad. It's only a bad campaign for sure, but like we'll take it. We'll definitely take it. We're not going to get punished for having this uniced because I don't think we're going to ice archives. Maybe we will. But like if we're just going to use this for a credit a turn or an advancement, I mean, it's probably okay. Right? Like we already wasted a clicker. I don't know if you trash this, but we'll be happy if he spends a click in 3. Yeah, maybe that's fine for us. It's pretty low value. Okay, spin is getting pressured here. We want to put one humanoid back in the deck, I'm pretty sure, and the KPIs are not bad. So I think we'll do that. Like this always goes back because it's the one of toolbox card, and we can get it with the regolith. And I think the KPIs are just nice. Like we've drawn 2 of them and I've liked them because their servers are tall. Fencer Fueno, Nuka, nice. We're going to draw a lot of cards here. So Antil, search for a 2-coster. So this is on our turn. That's fine. So we can get Afrum, we don't want it. We can get Regolith, we can get Holloman, we can get Yakov. I think we just go for Yakov in server 2. We have Mitra into Event Horizon, which is pretty good. Toxin, that's big. So that's a big code gate. So I think we're just going to do Tucana SDS drone deployment and then like click for a credit. That means that we can SDS drone deployment the Kurapira by pulling the Mavirus into a Holloman next turn. I think it's pretty sick. Again, slow and steady. We're a juggernaut, not a race car. That's a good expression, right? It's so hard to read the server when there's like 17 upgrades in it. The cool thing about Yakov, it fires even if you trash Yakov, so it always will be credit neutral. But like we can just fire the Mitra for 5 credits. Like this card is totally forgettable, unfortunately. Because in most op decks it didn't see play, but in the decks that saw play, it's really, really good. They pull out a shred. I mean, they pull out a shred. We just Event Horizon the first one. We'll be fine. Shred is good into this for sure. Shred into Event Horizon actually is really, really quite good. Okay. Right, like Hermes on R&D is a way, I guess, that we can get cooked here. But you need to get at least a double access here. Gut is good. I like Gut. I don't trust Gut enough. All right, straight pinhole. I don't think we have to do anything about this. If we Mavirus the Holloman, the only place we can put it safely is on R&D, so I think we'll just let this go through. Like, you could maybe Mavirus the Mitra. Oh, wow. Okay, we're Mavirus the Mitra. We're going to get 2 credits. We can always still respond. Hold on. We could respond to this with a Mavirus. So we actually can trash the agenda here by Mavirusing on top of the SDS drone deployment if we want to. We can also just let the SDS go through, which is kind of scary. So where last turn, click was Toxin for Stavka. I mean, it could have been on Shib. Yeah, it could have. Yeah, I'd have to think on Shib install for the play. But I think I'm fine. So like the thing is, if the SDS goes through and he's only on 3 points, we're not super upset. He also just straight dies to measured if we top deck it, but there's 3 and 46, so it's not incredibly likely. Tucana can fire Zato, he'd be really good. But if we have him a virus, we can go get a 2-coster, and if we get a 2-coster that goes into the server, we can always just trash the agenda. The problem is like the agenda can come out next turn with Descent, so we could do all that. We end up actually making some amount of money on this because this is whenever, so we could just Mavirus the server after he breaks everything. I think we do that. I'm not comfortable going to game point this soon. If this was 3 points, we might have let it go through, but I think we need to torch this. Tucana an enemy would have been lethal. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. Does he have a click left? So trashing doesn't work. Oh yeah, he does have a click left. Yeah, you're right. I thought that was the last click. So okay, could we have grabbed a 2-coster with this before the run starts? He has all breakers. He only had 5 credits, but he has 8 credits. So is there any 2-coster we can get here? No. Oh wait, he dies to Mavirus. Oh my god, yeah, never mind. Chat, you're so smart. Just res Mavirus. Oh my god, it's so easy. Yeah, right. We both forgot about it. Yeah, okay, that works. I was gonna pop this for something, but yeah, I shouldn't have bravadoed. Yeah, probably not. Yeah, best not. I was really greedy to bravado there. Yeah. Yeah, that read was good. That read was good. I think we could have gone a turn slower there and got the Vent Horizon on. That would have been pretty reasonable. We also definitely want to get the Stavka there, because if he makes a run to the Stavka, we win the game on the spot. Yeah. Stavka on the first check was like game winning. I don't know if the deck's on 3 Stavkas. I hope it is. But like Stavka Afroon is like kind of messed up. Yeah, we're on 3 Stavkas. Yeah, toxining for Stavka was good enough. It's good gut. Gut was good. That's what GG stands for. It's good gut. It'd be funny if we top deck a measured, huh? Yeah, lethal Mavs. It happens so like less commonly. Forget about it. But it is still there. We could have res 2 Kana 2 to thin the deck, which was correct here, because it means that we have a better chance of drawing into a measured. Yeah. But it doesn't matter here. But we should have res a 2 Kana for sure, just to thin the deck. What a nightmare to play against. I mean, like, Op has a lot of really sharp gotchas, unfortunately. Dying to a virus isn't exactly one of them. GG. I should have slowed a turn. And got the Stavka or Event Horizon. Your last face check with 2 breakers hits a Stavka half run there. And the game is cooked. Yeah, I was going to Mitra into Event Horizon. Oh, I Stavka the Mav. Yeah. Your first run was risky. But like, kind of have to, I guess. Yeah, like we have so many things that blow you out. Like you run into the Stavka Zato, you get blown up, Stavka Mitra, sorry, Stavka Virus. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't think it was wrong to run. Math flatline should be an achievement. What was the reference you made? Love to read up. SHM. I'm not sure what reference you're talking about, because you might be not watching live, is my guess. Secret map decks, AGG. Thanks again. It's good to get that out of your system before the tournament, for what it's worth. And the next card's measured response. You see, it's right there. Just 5 cards down. So what we would have done is we would fire 2 Kana. We would obviously got this Stavka out of the way, and then we would draw into the measured super easy. Super straightforward. I only hit my virus in R&D and archives. Yeah, on the table if it's a res, it can hurt you. God damn it, Meteor. That was actually a good game. The above the law from hand sucked. It was above the law, unstealable SDS, and the what's it called? The Antil. This was the worst steal, because ultimately, if we don't have a blowout here, if you're only on 3 points, I'm happy trading the SDS to Kana, but trading the above the law and putting you on game point is kind of shit. I don't love that. That brick of 12 points halfway down. I mean, it does happen with big numbers. Oh yeah, that's a good break there. That's a good break. There has to be agendas or trashable in HQ. At this point, no. I think the Waken plan was way aggressive. I didn't pay attention to what it hit, what I should have. But the Waken plan was pretty aggressive. I don't know if you're going to get enough value off of that. I think losing invisible text on my virus is totally fair. Oh, no, it's fun when it happens. Like when I did my virus, I'm like, yeah, right. I forgot they did that. They made a Jateki card for a reason. Yeah. The wake was entirely bait. Yeah, I did maybe over-index into it. The Afshar I also wanted to kind of keep for the play. If you like boomerang the descent, I would Mitra flip it, but like Mitra's good. Hoping would hit the fish. Yeah, the fish also. I don't know if it pays out. About self-correcting draws on the string of 4 agendas. That's what I mean. That's a weird thing too, though. Like, I guess it has nothing to do with it. But like when you look at a string of like flipping coins, the amounts of like 5 runs in a row of heads or tails, like people don't think they'll happen. It happens all the time. Mitra's so bad for me, yeah. Losing the boomerang sucked, yeah. It's oh, bye. Mitra is just genuinely a bit difficult to play around. Zato also would have been bad, as you called out. But it's like, yeah, it's hard for criminal. How do you like as going into the weekend, assuming you're playing as, or if you're not, you don't have to say it. Evening. Hey, Griffin Thomas, how's it going? I wanted Zato. Yeah, if you force ice out of the server, that's okay, because you could run back. If you had no clicks left, and for a second I evaluated you had no clicks left, I would have just like virus to trash the agenda, which is like obviously wrong. And then someone in chat was like, wait, they just die. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good point, I guess. Hope the stream's been good. It's been good so far. I've been having a really bad stomach day to keep things PG. So I have my ginger tea, and right now we're on track to survive the evening. So, you know, the little things, huh? I might cut the wake. Are you on 220? I feel like when I'm playing a single twinning and no wake, I just don't have enough pressure against like certain decks that require, you know, pressure to close the game out. So I can't tell. It's instead of twinning or less twinning. It's just that, yeah, that feels too little to me. I don't know. It's like if you play against HP like PD combo and you can't present fast events, multi-axis, I don't know what you do. It's just that it's so dead. Sorry to hear. Oh, the article I was talking about is spike biased. If this is what you're talking about, right? So I'll put it in the chat. If you just search this word, it will spike bias Netrunner. It'll come up if you never know the link. But this is Tuna's blog. It's really good. qtm-netrunner.gitlab.io. Really, really good stuff here. Like the article, I forget which one this is under. It probably should be reasonable. It's probably somewhere under agenda density, I guess. But like the whole website is just phenomenal. Like very. Oh, hey, sorry. Tabbed away for a second. How you doing? All right, Phoenix, neat. 45 cards. I don't know what Phoenix is meant to be doing, so I don't know what to play around exactly. Like probably stick and poke. A lot of our ice does just hard end the run. This opening hand has 1.5 cards I like, so I'm thinking I'm gonna mulligan it. Because like I don't want to have an early log jam. Descent is fine. Miyoshu's useless. Yakov is okay. Spin Doctor's okay. Thanks, you too. Doing well, thanks. Yeah. All right, that's a lot better. Now, Stavka technically makes Phoenix fire. We also might not want to play the petty cache because it's like the perfect thing to discard to Phoenix's text, so that's kind of good. Corp Ice is brutal for Crim Icebreakers. Wake is so tough. Yeah, you have to be able to run like cheaply enough, and like just one Winchester is already presenting a big enough problem for Wake to be an uphill struggle. Like the After was honestly probably a bit of an overcommit because running, like again, if you don't have a leech, running Winchester into Tithe, it's like already 7 credits or something. Like maybe a transfer does it. Did you see Angie the Patrain at the Jazz Festival? I didn't go that night. Was a birthday, but I had friends who went. Seemed pretty wild. Okay, so Phoenix might have central pressure. If you're gonna, you know, not res ice, Phoenix has to do something. In theory, we could just let this open and be like hedge fund, sandstone, regolith, go. I mean, I don't know if we get punished to that. This is like technically more how you played op a year ago than now, but I don't know what we're worried about against Phoenix. Huge L there, but as usual. That's great. Buffer drive early is very expensive. I don't know if this is going to be firing anytime soon. I don't like playing a 3 credit brick. I think you need to have a reason that this fires. Otherwise, it is just a 3 credit brick. I'm going to still hold into the Betty Cash. I don't think we need to play it. This just seems a bit better. And we just have 16 credits. Hey, Shanros, how's it going? It's boat checking. This game too. We got him a virus flatline against Meteor, which is fun. Okay. Oh, price, excuse me. I thought they just pitched a strike fund somehow. So the price hit a strike fund. The 4 cards are, they bottomed a gamble. We have a Ute, Sure Gamble, Strike Fund, and that's it. Dawkins is out. That's the HQ pressure we're talking about. So Ute is technically an icebreaker. So we have a BOAC, which could fire. This is not going to hit much. They have no credits to trash anything. Again, they put all the credits into the fermenter. We have 3 virus, which like purging would be pretty nice. We don't want to get the Tithe because Tithe is like good Phoenix fuel. Basalt's not perfect here, so I think we can just Spin Doctor in. Ute means we're probably running all the companions. This is one of the, you don't see this ice a lot, icebreaker. They only get kind of good when you play enough rituals. So let's see if our hand gets way worse. All right. Stavka means Phoenix will fire. The cool thing is we can actually let Phoenix fire and then throw out the basalt like for us. That's a weird interaction point you have. We also could just like hard res a BOAC. The BOAC will trash program and end the run, but the Stavka is probably just a bit better. And we can click Regolith for 3, or we can get them a virus on the table. Them a virus I don't really care about. If they face check into this, like that'd be sick because we get a trash 2 for 1. I think we'll just put them a virus in server 1 because next turn we can do take 6 and then do another thing. Your big op paying out anytime soon isn't as big as a worry. I don't know what that's in relation to, but yeah, we're not in a rush to empty the Regolith or the petty cache. Thanks for reminding me the virus has text. I mean, if they wanted to print it neutral, they wanted to put net damage on it. So you kind of got to give NSG their credit. All right, gain 6. So this was 2 clicks for 5 credits. It's like not awful. Again, a virus deck, like using that aggressively is not probably one of your better ways to play it. All right, so the problem is as soon as we res the Stavka, we're not going to have ice on HQ that ends the run, so Rio can farm us. The funny thing about Rio, though, is like Rio's text is an upside for you with Spin Doctor. It allows us just to throw the Basalt out. So we can do Stavka, trash the virus to get a descent on HQ. I mean, like that's not the worst. Otherwise, the Regolith can get a 1 cost. There's no 1 cost end the run in the format. The Mavirus is useful probably, but I don't think we need it. I think I'm like, we could also just let this go through and then just naturally draw ice. But I kind of want to trash this thing just to get something. This might be wrong. So this should just get a descent on HQ, which means like we will keep the Docklands Pass out forever. And yeah, Ryu has text, but like if you leave a Spin Doctor into the text, Ryu is just allowing us to fix our hand. So they'll see 2 cards, but we can just go ahead and Basalt this. Ryu is not optional. So like you can't steal an agenda when you run HQ. It's like really, really cursed. All right, daily casts. Cool. We don't need to bounce that. Humanoid's great. We could go this, get an ice, put a humanoid. We still have the petty cash. I think there should be a tithe. Tithe requires a successful run, so we could put the tithe on server 1, but putting tithe anywhere else for Phoenix is pretty bad. I guess we don't go for the tithe, we just go for the Malapert, because tithe is like pretty bad into Phoenix. A wall-to-wall is not awful because their economy is not great. Maybe we'll do the wall-to-wall, but with the humanoid, we're going to be drawing a lot of cards. It's like, also we have a Spin Doctor and we'll have the Spin Doctor rezzed already. So the tithe, I think the Malapert probably is better. Sorry, 1 second. Just gonna grab something else. I mean, the Malapert's fine, and we'll put this on top. It's not absurd that they get into the server with Botulis, especially because this looks that we prioritize the Malapert, so this could be an agenda. If they get in here and trash the humanoid, we'll be sad, but it won't be like game losing. Another price, they threw out a leech, a banner, and a steel skin. Banner will work against Sandstone if you work hard enough, but they're playing some pretty interesting breakers. Steel skin draws 2, which is good. So now they have to choose between multi-axis and weird breaker. They win for the multi-axis. So we'll see how soon a companion comes down to charge this. We're not surprised that they're running this because obviously like Anarch in general, but they're also were on Ute and maybe they're even on the other one. So we're good. We just draw it. That's really funny. So we'll search here. We'll get a Mitra in server 1. That's really good against a bunch of different things like Botulis and Banner. We'll put a card from HQ. So we can install 2 cards here. I mean, I think we just go for the slow thing. So we'll put this on server 1. I think we'll put a Biowack in server 1. Maybe that's a bit much. I don't know if we have to do more than the Sandstone, but I would just put this on R&D. I think the remote server is pretty good with the Mitra here. And we'll just play the petty cash, right? Again, very slow, very methodical. We're on track to empty 2 Regoliths by like turn 7, which is a lot of money. All right, Gachapon looks into it. We see a companion. There's the other one. Sorry, Adore. That's your breaker. Once this does come up, like the BOX do go down relatively reasonably, like 6 credits. Maybe that's okay for the killer suite you're expecting in Anarch. Otherwise, though, you might want to go for the Mystic just because your economy is actually pretty good. But you want to be able to charge the twinning somehow. This also shuffles the deck, so the cards that they buffer drive are back in conversation. But yeah, now this is like you break 3, 6. This breaks BOX for 8. I mean, like, it's not that bad. It's not great, but it's not that bad. The problem is like BOAC, you need to break every subroutine, kind of. Because if you don't break it, we can always end the run. So there's no ice on the table that Phoenix can fire their ability. I do think Stick and Poke is virtual, so Adore is like a bit easier to play. Yeah, them not charging the twinning is really good for us. Because that's the thing that we'll slowly lose to. All right, Petty Cash. I don't think it's a reason not to play it. Just get big money. With the Malapert, if we score, we can Myoshu comfortably. And you can Myoshu the first agenda. It's not that important. There's the Stick and Poke. Okay, cool. So the first time each turn, the ice gets a do 1 net damage. The runner draws a card subroutine. So if we res this Biowack for 14, which I think we can afford to do, they're going to have to break it for 8. Break any number of Sentry subroutines. You can choose the number. So Stick and Poke might fire here. We can throw out a wall-to-wall or Mavirus, probably the wall-to-wall. But I mean, we're going to res something big. I don't think they're on ice destruction. And they can't really count a botulus here. Yeah, full price lizard. I mean, we have the pocketbook to pay for a full price lizard. No one plays around that. I mean, it is a bit of a jump scare. And luckily, Adore, they don't have the third virtual, which would have saved them only 2 credits. So they're just going to pay 8, and they actually paid the stick and poke. Interesting. It's technically the same price, but if you don't pay, you take a net damage to get a card out and a credit. Well, that's a lot of their money. 8 for a single is not super sustainable. Okay, we just naturally drew the Myoshu. Look at us. Okay, we definitely want to do this. There's just a tithe. I don't think we actually take the tithe here. We can grab another Bioac if we push. I kind of want an agenda. Antil will get us to an agenda hopefully soon. I could see them pressuring this. We know that the banner's their breaker, which requires, I think, 1 run, actually, because banner's 5 strength, I think. So they bypass the sandstone for 2. That means Phoenix will fire. So our barriers are a bit weak. But if they drop a banner and they don't have credits, we'll just like swap in a Bioac and res it for 11. Metropole should. More like Ian. You ready for the weekend? You're playing at the EMEA online tournament, right? The showdown. You want to wake up at 4 instead of going out and hanging out with friends. Looney Goon art needs to come back. Looney Goon art gives me nightmares. All right, they threw out another Adore, a T400, a buffer drive, a Marrow, and a memory diamond. Interesting. Greedy. They're playing all in faction breakers. What's the 70 influence going? I don't know so far. Like, deep dive? I can't tell. But we've seen literally 0 influence besides 2 buffer drives. And a DECKLISTS, actually. So maybe just some small stuff. Let's go. Man, can we empty 3 Zatos? Why are you declining the tithe? Are you afraid of Phoenix's text? Yes. Technically, yes. Because eventually Phoenix breaks it for free. Right? Like, we don't kind of want to get that. I don't know if we need to get cards out of the deck that fast, but like, that is genuinely the reason. We could put the wall-to-wall down. I could also just click for a credit. We should be able to push next turn. Putting them a virus on the table actually is probably better than clicking for credit. Just because they could play a botulus and we went on and play around that. They break Stavka eventually for 6? Oh no, they have to break it for 9 if we res it. Strike front cast, I mean, cool. Slow and steady. We drew the Afroon, that sucks, but we can discard it and spin Doctor it back if we want to be really mean. Yeah. Holoman, Tukana, Yakov. Yakov is money. Holoman is a win condition, but with the virus we can hide it. Tukana is just good text. I think we do Tukana, but I could be right or wrong about that. Is there anything in the bin you want to shuffle back with Ob? Yeah, the Afroon we definitely want to shuffle back. Unfortunately, here we don't have anything we want to be doing. So we could put the wall-to-wall on the table. We could put the Regolith and just empty it. I mean, like, I do think we are literally as slow as we can get. And I think we just do credit, throw out the Afroon. Actually, no, we don't credit. We obviously do this, but like, now they know they don't have to do anything. If we credit, they might interact. I don't think interacting is going to be great for them. Yeah, I think the tithe is better in R&D than a card on the table. Because it allows them to do their thing. If we drew an agenda, we'd jam it. We have them a virus into Holoman. That's a memory diamond. They want to go for hand size. Can't tell what their win condition is. KPI, I mean, I don't know. I think we use the wall-to-wall for card draw. This gets us a 1-coster, which, like, who cares for the tithe? Event Horizon on a remote server is okay too, so we could, like, just KPI for that. I don't know if we have to protect centrals. They haven't charged the twinning so far, which has been pretty good for us. I think we draw once. Okay, that's good. This might be their last Adore. I guess we're priced into emptying this Regolith, so we'll KPI to install the Event Horizon. No, we might just trash this Regolith. Maybe it's a sin to trash a Regolith. Because I want to put the SDS and a virus and an Event Horizon. I guess we have the Metroid to play around one of those, so we don't need to do it. So we could push it now, or we could go slow. I have no idea how you're meant to play this deck. I think we want to go a bit slow because we have a 14 credit res here. So I think we're just going to do install my virus. Use Regolith. Throw out the wall-to-wall. Because in theory, we want to empty this and push SDS next turn, because then we can use this virus for Hollow Man. And then we can threaten to score out and blow up the last Adore, which they have a buffer drive, so they can always get it back if they want to. We'll find out. Okay, Leech is not amazing because, well, this does force a Spin Doctor, which is good. But it does also, like, we have viruses in here, so it won't get that many counters. So put that back, and I think we just put the Afrun back as much as like the humanoid is kind of good. But this will get a counter and then just get wiped. So we don't have to protect this against Leech. They force their spin, which is good. Okay, so let's start pushing. So 3/3, we can go get a 1 cost, or we won't. We'll put this in server 1. And then we can grab a Holloman and advance out for 8. Fire Tucana, probably get something on R&D, we'll see. All right, we have a virus to respond to that. It won't be a good time to respond to it, but we'll respond to it immediately. So on their turn, as much as I don't think it matters, we'll search for a Holloman. We'll put that into server 1. Start a turn. No. We could have put it anywhere. So we'll do Holloman. We could KPI here to get the Event Horizon on. I mean, we're going to be discarding a card anyway, so I guess we do. So we'll KPI to install an ice. The Event Horizon will go on server 1. We want to jam the next card in a second. Then we'll place an advancement on the SDS. We'll advance score. We'll SDS drone deployment. We'll trash, I think, the Adore. We've seen another one hit the bin. The Ute, we only have 1 code gate, so we'll go for this. We'll go for the Malapert to grab a card. I think we just go for the Stavka. I mean, I'm not too clever to know what else we should be going for here. I think it's the Stavka. And R&D for an ice, yeah, we'll just get something on R&D. We want to get something that has subroutines that they have to deal with. Maskarovka, we know that they're on banner, so it's not amazing. We have so many triggers here. I think we want to just be safe. We can put an Event Horizon on R&D for a credit, because like they might be on Finality. They seem to care about hand size, so like I'm assuming they have some sort of core damage thing. They also might be on Shastushka, which like does interact with Phoenix. Imagine the runners packing Light the Fire. I mean, yeah, it'd be fine. We Event Horizon it, I guess. But yeah, with Mitro for the Event Horizon, it'd be pretty bad. So having the Event Horizon means like they can't do Light the Fire and Shred in the same turn. There's the banner, 5 strength. Okay, so all our barriers, I think, get eaten by that, besides like maybe a logjam at some point. But we want to just keep pushing. No. Is Basalt better than the SDS? We have no access to measured. I want to go for the SDS because their breakers will probably be annoying. So we'll do 1, 2. We have a Stavka with the Mitra. We have the Afrun still in our deck. So like if they run this, it's really quite bad. This is awful. When our bad direct access is for this deck, I could see some turns where we get blown out by it for sure. But even if you fire the Event Horizon for the hard end the run, maybe it's okay. Yeah, you can still Zato. Like you can still force an end the run. There's the Marrow. We don't have to we have to sabotage when we score. I mean, that's fine. We have a lot of cards. Oh, we should have advanced this once because we can win off of Myoshu. What am I doing? Yeah, we should have advanced. Yeah, pre-advance the Gen and you eat Myoshu. Yeah, I totally forgot Myoshu was our game plan. I was trying to just score to 6 for some reason, but we need to advance this once so that we can Myoshu win. So hopefully this holds for 2 turns. I'd be surprised if it doesn't. We can obviously just like purge the virus for fun, but I don't think money actually beats the server because they have to figure out how to beat Event Horizon, BOAC. They have to beat Stavka, Mavirus. It's really hard. You can still do it. Next turn we can, but I don't think we can do 5 advancements and have a click left. Yeah, so I think we're just gonna do advance credit. Probably not a flashy turn. They have to interact this turn. We know they're not on Hermes, so they're fine. Yeah, I'm just gonna do double advance. I think single advance credit. I don't think we have to do anything. Can you double Holloman? Without a Spin Doctor, no. But double Holloman's always a fun line that is easy to forget. That you can use a Holloman, then you can trash it by firing something in instant speed like the Mavirus, and then bring a Holloman back, but you have to have a Spin Doctor. All right, that's game. Yeah, cool. We don't have to do anything. I mean, the server is really hard to deal with. There's no window for them to do anything. Yeah. AGG. Yeah, I don't know how they contest that server. It's really hard. The face checks are very difficult to deal with. Thanks for the game. They have a lot of cool cards. Yeah, I don't know how this Breaker Suite, how actually effective it is. Like, you'd have to do the numbers on it. There's probably some interactions that are a bit better than like just flat playing Buzzsaw. But like, I don't know, a lot of the ice I want to break with code gates right now, there's not a lot of low code gates. So if you want to use Ute to break like an Atini, which like Buzzsaw's not amazing into, how much are you paying? 7? I mean, it's a lot. We can Yoshi off the next agenda. I mean, this is not on green mail, right? One green mail, you do that. Mind you, Malenperd can't grab agendas. Why? I kind of get it. All right, we'll do one more. Again, slow and steady. Like, you don't have to rush. Your server eventually gets gruesome, and it's hard to win up centrals. And that is like a good mixture of things. We played on Tuesday. We played like only against Lose all day, largely. Surprised. Have we played into Lou yet? We've played like 2 games. No, we played into a Criminal and a Phoenix. Yeah, there was that good puzzle. I want to say recently, but it might not even have been this year, about like the double Holloman or like the triple Holloman score out. It was like an odd board state, and the answer was like, how do you score to 7 on this board state? And it got really convoluted. It was a fun thing to solve. Yeah. I wonder if we should mark our lobby as competitive. We almost never do. We just say standard format. But I think I've seen more people use the competitive lobby handle, particularly before like a tournament. The thing is, like, yeah, there's a lot of like great players here not using the competitive handle. So I'm assuming they're still, you know, getting competitive games in. But maybe there's a mismatch. I don't know if this deck is fun to play against casual netrunner, or like as a casual netrunner to play against it. Are we taking the correctly resolved descent without shortcutting anything challenge? No. I don't know the words on descent. I think it's added to hand. Then you can draw, then reveal, then shuffle. Draw a card, reveal up to 2 agendas in HQ and or archives, and shuffle them into R&D. I feel like I've done that correctly. I can give you the rules of the challenge. We can see what you score. Uh-oh. Okay, I read the text of the card. That's probably going to help me. I've seen some players tagging their games as looking for a competitive. Yeah, it's good that people can use that. Because obviously having a mismatch between expectations and reality, like nobody likes that. Yeah. I don't know. It feels like there's a mismatch between competitive and casual. Like, I don't know. This might just be my vibe, but it feels right now like there's a big enough mismatch between competitive and casual in this game that sometimes it's bigger than other times. New metas, it's like really, really nice because everybody can do anything and like you can't really tell. But I feel like we're at the point where there's a pretty big mismatch between competitive and casual. And maybe it's because the competitive decks are like surprisingly sharp. I don't know though. That might not be true. It's hard to judge that fact. I'm sure they would raise their eyebrows if I bring Dulbub's Padma Lips. You think? The one with all the checkpoints, I learned a lot doing that and promptly forgot most of the nuance of firing a descent. There can't be that much nuance in firing a descent, can there? After this, I want to build a deck. And it was something that kind of stuck in my mind. On Tuesday, we played against a player. I didn't recognize their name. And they played Magdalene. And we were playing Splat, like, what's a MeliSU. And they made as few runs as possible. They played like good control shaper. And it was really, really bad for us because, well, why we got a credit every turn. They made only the right runs. They didn't hit the bites. They pulled us apart. They ran their remote when it mattered. And they didn't interact with our ice and do all the stuff that like you can get ground into in Melius. And that was good. We lost pretty handedly. They played it very well. So the question is like, can you play control criminal like that? Because one of my big frustrations right now is like playing criminal in Melius, where like a lot of the criminal lists like Vic, Moosely Hot, they're all about running, like literally every single turn. And it seems like one of the worst things you can do is either present like you want to run every turn to Melius or actually run every turn to Melius for like 17 different reasons. And then I start tilting. So there's like 100 different reasons why you shouldn't do it. And like criminal, like a lot of the criminal cards are good cards that want you to run. Like that's the issue, right? Like Bravado, Dirty Laundry, they're great cards. Transfer, right? They're great cards, but they're all run events. You do still have enough economy, I think, in criminal that doesn't require running. And if you can just like passively build a turning wheel and then just like every once in a while, you know, throw a Hermes reprise, kind of that like CTZ worm style thing. I want to know what like control criminal feels against Melius, where like, you only run sometimes and you make very targeted runs. Like you, you know, you play tailgate. and you just send it with a full twinning, and then you Hermes the board and say like, that was my one run, and next 3 turns I'm going to be installing daily cast and clicking for credits. I'll DM you on Discord, I guess. Character limit is rough. Yeah, sure. I can pull that up. We have an extended Pudma gaslighting segment in the latest King's Court. Oh, I haven't heard that one. It came out, I think, last night. I got that notification. Maybe it was today, actually. I haven't heard it yet. Cards on the table. I might be a little disenchanted with NR right now. Incredibly excited for Worlds. I'm glad I'm volunteering. Yeah, it comes and goes. Like, it's important to understand if you do feel disenchanted. Like, sometimes it's nice to take a break. I'm not saying that you should necessarily. I'm not telling you to take a break, but like that stuff happens. It's good that you like have feelings around your hobbies and that you can realize them and you know, interact with them. So thanks, you too. I've been to metas where I've been more excited than others. It always gets better, that's for sure. It almost never gets worse. So yeah, that's okay. Don't feel bad about it. Hey man, just want to say thanks for the content. It's been super helpful as a new player. Hey, how's it going, Upbeat? I'm going to play my first person tournament this weekend here in Denver, and I'm pretty excited. So going to tournaments is the best thing you can do. It is so damn fun. If you're a newer player, you're probably going to lose a lot of games, specifically your first games, and eventually in a tournament, you'll be paired up against players who has the same score as you. So you'll be finding players of a more, you know, competitive matchup. But just like meeting people and seeing how they play the game and like what they value and the excitement, like you're in for a treat. Going to your first event is like the scariest thing. But once you go to one, you want to go to all of them. So let me know how it goes on the weekend. You play Tailgate, you've already lost. Okay, we'll just charge the 20. It's fine. What econ would you be playing? I'm not 100% sure. I think we play like every copy of the job market. We play daily casts. Maybe, I don't know, Fermenter. We'll find out. I think we also might want to play stealth because we don't have to run that much. We might be able to be greedy, but maybe the benefit of stealth is we can run a lot. So maybe we don't need to have efficient breakers. We'll figure it out. It's lat. We don't have anything to push in remote server on turn 1, which is not common for us. We could just play this petty cache. It's not bad. I don't think Lat is going to get blown out by Stavka on turn 1, so I think we'll just do petty cache draw. We could just do hedge fund pass. Burner kind of is a bit ugly against us, but like we don't really have a play. We could put a descent on HQ just to play around Burner, but Burner to Lat is not amazing. I don't love that we're on 5 card hand size here, but like we don't have an obvious play. I'm pretty sure we mulligan into a better hand. For sure, spoiler season will fix that. Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Or even just like a balance list, which next week, mind you, can fix that. Okay, Madani, nice. I've sent you the challenge. Okay, I'll check it after. Lucy, if I forget, kind of poke me if you're still up, but I'll try and remember. I'll be happy to score some points. Great community. Yeah, I have no doubt you have a great community, so do have fun. It's kind of the best. Like, Netrunner is a great game. That's obvious, but the community is like I played so many card games. The Netrunner community is like buck wild special, and it's really hard to pinpoint exactly why, but you'll know it when you see it. All right, so we could do draw, jam, jam if we draw something to jam. We didn't. SES drone deployment is going to be a bit sketch. We want to do Stavka into Masky, so I think we can just do new remote hedge, and then next turn we could do probably Mitra Stavka. I don't think we really want to jam this quickly, but against Shaper, we're slightly more incentivized to rush than some of the other factions we're playing against. A deck concept question. Hey, Yen. Is Madani borrowed goods Vic with bypass tech possible? Want to test out more Madani? I have no idea. Those are a lot of like really weird ideas altogether. I think borrowed goods is like just a very slow, clumsy card. It turns out to be like very slow and clumsy. Obviously, Vic makes it a bit better, but I couldn't tell you. The good thing about like the Shaper is a lot of your programs actually push your game forward. So it's not just about click compression too. It's like we can get a coalescence every turn, right? You can fire DZ. So there's a lot more reasons. Your engine can be built off of installing and trashing programs. For Criminal, it's way harder to make your whole engine about installing stuff at instant speed. Like Anarch can because they have viruses. Shaper can because programs is like momentum. Criminal is the hardest reason to want to do that. Like you have Fazerum, I guess, like, but that's like the only thing you really have at instant speed that can blow out someone. So it's a bit tricky for sure. I'm scared because their setup is really good. Oh, that'll help. Okay. Afrun is not something we want in our hand. We have a Stavka into the Mitra. We can just set that up and maybe we can push, but I'd rather push an economy card here. They're definitely on like, I'm assuming 3 pinholes, but this has been a bad start. So I think we actually should be pushing slower than this. Bazarian Entangler Madani is very powerful. Oh, for sure. But like, I think you're probably better off just like, I'm assuming that isn't a reason to not play Hermes. You know what I mean? Crim doesn't have enough bulk draw to make Madani loading efficient, probably. Yeah, you're gonna have to spend influence on like Cookbook. Oh wow, they're sorry, on Nuka. They're on Cookbook, so they might be on full viruses here. Or they're going to be like botching off Madani, which for a deck that has 3 Mavirus might not be that bad for us. You're also paying influence for the privilege and not playing Hermes. Yes, yeah, not playing Hermes is very expensive. Okay, so they're doing something weird. They have Pelongi Cookbook Propeller, which is going to be hard to play around, but we do have Mavirus, and Madani's only once per turn, so we should be able to like do something cheeky here. Tucana is good, but I don't want to jam this stuff. 2 stuff. Honestly, maybe. We don't have a res 3-for. We want a 3-for resed. Our money sucks too. We've drawn 1 econ card. Or sorry, we also drew petty cash, so that's a bit unfair. I mean, I'm gonna do this, but this can't be right. Fermenter Madani is probably cool. The Fermenter starts at 3 counter. Yeah, I think there's a reason to play Madani and Anarch. Ooh, Conduit, scary. Because Madani and Anarch, you can play like, what's her name? Augustina, and you can fire that very aggressively. We have 3 Mavirus and not a lot of agendas. This can't be that bad for us. I mean, that's not good for us. That was the easiest agenda to steal. So now they're seeing 2 more cards. We could haul them in the server if we wanted to and blow out the Muse Conduit. This is really aggressive. So they know 4 cards. We have to make sure we don't shuffle, because as soon as we shuffle, Conduit is like busted good. There's a history of Madani Crim feed Fazarum being better than you'd expect, like a tier 2 kind of thing. Hey, Otrikun. So I see what is the new ban list. Not sure how likely, but I'm kind of hoping for a Sable on ban. Yeah, I'd be surprised, but I wouldn't be too upset about it. There's a Madani Zaya that top 8'd 8-pack cons last year. Definitely not the best Crim or Madani deck you could play, probably not right now, but it's probably functional. Yeah, maybe it is. Okay, so we just hard purge. It doesn't really do much. Even just putting a tithe on R&D really kind of changes the math. They're on only a propeller. If they have 2 propellers or propeller Pelongi, like they can get through the server, it turns out. Mitra can make a double sentry, but if it's double sentry, like they probably will still have a breaker to steal the SDS. Again, because they sold the easy 2 points, now giving them this 3 points, like that's really sketch for us. Because if they're not on game point, we don't care. But now we'll be stealing this and on game point, we kind of do care. We can't use Spin Doctor to shuffle. We can't really afford to purge here until we ice up R&D. So I think we have to just ice up R&D here. If we do a big Stavka, they have to propeller the Stavka, which is all the counters and one of the 3 Pelongi counters, which is kind of interesting. But they also have access to Muse, and if they install the Muse, they probably do get like a Fazarum or something for the Stavka. So I think no matter what, with their Breaker Suite, we're kind of cooked if we rush. So we probably can't rush. Drawing puts them deeper, but we kind of have to. I think we could over-install this and put a tile on R&D, because I don't want to score this anymore. Maybe that's a mistake, but like I don't see a world which with Muse, Propeller, and Pelongi that they can't charge a remote server without access to Mavirus. Probably don't want to res Biowac, might get put to sleep. I'd be surprised if they're on that, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're on Fazarum. But yeah, they technically can instant speed D-res, kind of instant speed D-res a Biowac by like cookbooking out a what's it called? Not silencer, tranquilizer. I guess the deck is a Fazarum to fetch with Muse. Yeah, me too. So like even Stavka Hafrun is not guaranteed. Which card, by the way, if I'm allowed to know? Sorry? Do they mean in the new remote? Love the live to be alive. Hey David, how's it going? Oh yeah, oh sure. It was the oldest replaced. Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's tricky to tell. Yeah. But yeah, it is the oldest. It always will, the newest will be on top, but you can't tell which one was trash. I think it was the oldest. Regardless, it was one that was installed last turn. So was the third, I think? Yeah. So the oldest. Sorry, wow, not the oldest. Wait. I meant top card, not the oldest. Like the newest. Like straight the opposite. A card I installed last turn. Yeah, that's not right. It wasn't the most recent install. It was. I looked at it. I was like, it's on the top, so it's the oldest. I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that, bud. What are you talking about? I don't think it makes a huge difference, but it was a card I installed last turn. 2 were installed at the same time, so all that matters is it was a last turn card. All right, we'll res the tithe. I'm gonna ask for action here. In theory, we could, in case they want to hush something at instant speed. I mean, they technically passed the window, but you might as well be clear. Me when newest is oldest. All right, it's a tithe. I hear fireworks outside. I don't know why. This is just good enough. We haven't shuffled yet. They're going to see 2 new cards here. We don't have a huge agenda density. We know where 6 of the points are. They're highly incentivized if they think there's an agenda here to run archives before running R&D because it can force a shuffle. They're just going to let this fire. Hits a rejig. That's sick. And they're in. So I think this is just... Actually, maybe it's 3 new cards because we drew once. I always want to see a crimp style that uses the utility crimp programs, Fizerum, Compilation, Trank. Oh, now we lose. Yeah, we've lost now. But aside from Window of Opportunity Saucy, it's hard to do more than one X gimmick program. Yeah, it's like Window's a really cool card. Like what it does is powerful, and then its click compression is really powerful. I think it seems like there's a bunch of different issues. It's like you need a lot of card draw for those like situational cards to line up and for that deck to feel like it's doing a lot. And criminal card draw has somewhat been gated in a clumsy way. But yeah, it's like Window is an absurdly good card. We are now on game point. That is quite bad for us. We cannot shuffle. We can put the flagship on R&D at a minimum. It does technically work for a couple reasons. It stops conduit and it stops conduit. But like we can lose at any moment now. Measured, we only have 1. If we draw 3 measured, we could win, I guess. Number of crim programs that are better out of faction makes me sad. It's just like Criminal has never been great at playing utility programs because they generally need to play 3 breakers and then have an econ card usually. Like we were on an old meta, it was like 3 breakers and 2 Rozekis and like that's it. And it's just hard for any individual card to be better or more consistent than a Leech or Chesva. Because if your whole identity is about running and running cheaply, right? Like the card needs to be doing a lot more than that. Okay. We're going to get run down by this conduit. Our deck has 3 Maviruses. Like this shouldn't be that bad for us, but it is being that bad for us. Underdome really needs draw after discard. I mean, it would be really good. Deanway, how's it going? With Baz, it's a bit more consistent, it feels like. And for what it's worth, with Window of Opportunity, it should be more consistent. But I do think also like that archetype is just not as well explored. Maybe it's because it's a lot of work. Oh my god, the Tranquilizer is here. Yeah, we're gonna have not a real game of Netrunner. This is gonna be disgusting. But yeah, it's surprisingly hard. Okay, so as soon as what they can do now is they can install the Tranquilizer on the end of our turn. It comes in with 2 counters, and then the 3rd counter comes in at the start of their turn, and our ice gets de-rezzed. So we can't res something that costs 14 credits for sure. They have access to all their programs. Man, it's been a while since we have a Madani crash out, but like playing against this is so like absolutely overstimulating to be like they can produce 2 of these every turn cycle. They're down to 13 cards in their damn stack. We have 46. But like it's so hard for me to look at all these things and be like, these are functionally on the table. How do you play around all of these? Because you usually don't have all these on the table because you don't have enough MU. My brain does unfortunately shut down against this. Like I cannot tell what they're capable of doing next turn. I just can't. I think we have to purge here. I don't know. And we risk the game on that Pinel not popping Spindo. I mean, that's fine. I'll take it. I mean, I don't think we have good odds, but they could have had 2 for 1 deaths or 2 for 1 deaths and gone for the Spin Doctor, but I'm not going to pop the Spin Doctor into that. See, this is where you have 3 bites and loop them back in the deck to grind them out. Yeah, there you go. If we just said R&D and then they ran R&D, we fed them a bite. Could be that easy. Could be that easy. Or like play a big deal. I don't know. Yeah, this stuff. Oh, now 2 simul-chips, like it's impossible to tell what they're capable of doing. And we have to score in a remote server. Like we can't blow them out because we can't. They have instant speed revolver and Fizerum and Tranquilizer. The Tranquilizer is not super important. But like I don't know what to do. I literally have no idea what to do. Deep Dive will finish the match. They might be on Deep Dive. They might not be though if they're on Conduit. We're in theory good against Deep Dive because we have like Flagship and Event Horizon, so it probably won't. The thing is like we have to make that the case. But like I don't know what to do. We did not draw in a way that has a chance of beating this. And I can't mechanically get over what the sports day can do. Like with 2 simul chips, a Muse on here, like it's impossible to tell what they're capable of. I just can't do it. I would concede B2. I think I'm out. I think I'm going to throw the towel. I think I'm going to throw the towel in on this one. If you don't mind. Yeah, she absolutely got us. We have nothing we can do here. Thanks, you too. Yeah, it's turn 8 and we're in a really bad spot. Do you have a deep dive? Sent Judge Tower reminder, thank you. Yeah, Madani is like really, yeah, okay, yeah. So they're just going to try to get through it with Conduit, which, like, I mean, sooner than later, it does happen. At this point, though, because they're on 5 points, they don't have to do anything, and they can just wait for us to put cards on our remote server. In theory, we might be able to get one Holloman through and surprise her, but I don't think we're going to get another one over, because at that point, she can just run the server. And again, she breaks the server for probably, like, 3 credits, right? Like, it's not going to be good for us. We can't even do any of the cool half run stuff because she has access to like simulchips Muse. So like if you half run one breaker, she just simulchips it in. Like we have literally nothing. Need to play Kimberlite and Trash and Madani. I mean, God, really, for real, yes. If we get Kimberlite and Madani, we maybe have a chance. Like Holloman Kimberlite, it'd be pretty sick. And at that point, like maybe she still comes back with simulchip. It's so many cards to consider. I know. Yeah. It's that's the issue for me. Trying to map out what you're capable with that board state is nearly impossible. Yeah, it's like straight up impossible to tell what she's capable of. Man, Madani is gross. Like I can't tell what she can do with this. It's way too much info. She only has 1 MU, which is like the one downside, but like I don't think that really matters that much. She can trash the Muse Conduit. Yeah, maybe we can hope that she doesn't know too. Limo. Thanks for the game, eh? Yeah. That was a really ugly draw on our part, but yeah, this is a deck that's really good at dealing with our bullshit. Like this deck can beat Zato, this deck can beat Stavka, this deck can beat a lot. Oh, that was very kind. Okay, cool. Let's look at the thing real quickly. She's capable of anything, but credits will become a problem eventually. Yeah, but if she wasn't on game point, I'd maybe be okay. But because she's on game point, it's a fair bit harder because we can't force her in the remote server, and if we call it wrong, we're cooked. Okay, I need to open this in Notepad, I think. Okay, hold on. I haven't showed Notepad on stream for a bit. Is there like a good website that I can paste text in that doesn't look like butt? I wish I could play the deck and then just not get dunked on by Egg Corp. Oh, you probably will. Like, I do think you will have bad matchups that will ping you and force you to interact, but we're not that deck. So it's just going to be pretty bad. Does anybody know a good website? Because I can show Notepad, but Notepad is like kind of unpleasant to look at. Is there like a nice website I can just type into like a dark theme? Because otherwise we're doing Notepad, friends. Window capture. Notepad.exe. Ian, your thing got totally censored that to the point I'm expecting you just put a slur in there and you weren't helpful. You just did a slur. You probably had a good answer. I just self-censored it. You look like you did a crime. That's really funny. Okay, here we are. DM'd you a link? Okay, thank you. I just set up Notepad though. Markdown? Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, I'm cool with this. Okay, hold on. Okay, it's in bright mode, but it is pretty. What am I moving? I'm moving Notepad.exe, I think. That's not good. I'll lock it. Okay, so setup. The corp identity is the syndicate, so it's a blank identity. R&D is 10 copies of corporate operation. Archives is a face down send a message, and a face down corporation, a corporate operation. HQ contains dissent. Are there meant to be periods in this? Okay. Corporate operation is a blank operation. It does nothing. Archives is a face down send a message, and a face down corporate operation. Corporate operation is a blank card. It doesn't do anything. It's an operation that just says nothing, I think. HQ contains dissent, Offered office, and a copy of corporate operation. You have 1 click. You have 1 credit. Your action window has just opened. It's a different link that fixes formatting. Okay, thank you. Are we better? Oh, that's better. That's so much better. Thank you. Huge save. When streamer asks for a website but blocks URLs, that's the Discord tech. I don't choose to block URLs for what it's worth. It's just like the default setting, and it's obviously for the best. Okay, so Corp is the syndicate. Is corporate operation on NetRunnerDB? No, a new card dropped someone recently. It's just a blank operation that does nothing, right? Archives, I think it does nothing. Archives is a face down, send a message, a copy, corporate operation. HQ contains dissent, offer office, and a copy of corporate operation. You have 1 click, you have 1 credit, your action window is just open. Goal, use dissent to shuffle the offer office in HQ and then send a message and archives back into R&D. How hard could that be? You must not shortcut anything. Declare where all checkpoints occur. Okay, I'm going to fail because I don't know what the checkpoints are in this game. They don't technically really matter to the point where knowing them it matters unless you're like coding the NRO, I guess. But in terms of like checkpoints are not paid abilities, they're slightly different things. They kind of matter for rules, but you can be a judge without knowing them technically. I'll say, and then some judge will be like, you're wrong, you're not a real judge, but like they don't actually matter. Zero cost, zero trash cost, no text. It has a trash cost. A checkpoint is any place a conditional ability could try to do something. Okay, that's vague, but yeah, that's the idea. They don't really matter. Like you don't need to know your checkpoints in Netrunner to play the game. If priority is passed to the runner for any reason, they will immediately pass it back. Play until your action window closes. You may refer to the official text on descents. You may not refer to the comprehensive rules. Scoring, you will score 1 point for each correctly taken step. You will lose 1 point for each unnecessarily taken step. Calling checkpoints or passing priority at incorrect times. There are 21 points available. I think the max score was 14 so far. No, I can't do this. Of course I can't do this. You don't need to know any of this to play the game. I just found extremely cursed rules thing and turned into a puzzle. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we can take a college try. There's a way to split the tab open, right? New tab to right. Did this work? No, that's just the classic tab technology. There's a new way to put 2 tabs on the screen at the same time. Split view. Okay, so this is the text on descent. We'll go for this text here. It says, click and a credit, reveal and trash this ice from HQ, draw a card, reveal up to 2 agendas in HQ and or archives, and shuffle them into R&D. Okay, so when your turn begins, you may add this to ice to HQ. So pretty simple. What you do is you spend a click and a credit, you reveal and trash this ice from HQ, then you draw a card. The card that you will draw is corporate operation. You'll reveal 2 agendas in HQ or archives, and you'll shuffle them into R&D. I don't even know how to play this game. I don't have the ability to play this game. I don't know what we're doing here. Use this. Okay, hold on. Use the descent to shuffle off-world office in HQ and send a message back. Okay. So we have to declare the checkpoints. Calling 0 checkpoints. There might not be any checkpoints. Maybe it's just 1 action. If you do it quickly, it's like there's no way for your opponent to respond to this. Why would your opponent be able to respond to this? It happens at an action speed. There's no response window. Why is this in here? There's no priority to be passed. I feel like we can reverse engineer this knowing there are 21 points. You want to look at this and extract 21 points from it? That's what we want to be doing? I can think of one, and it's click in a credit, play, reveal, and trash. Okay, hold on. Okay, spending a click probably is a checkpoint. I still don't know what a checkpoint is. Spending a credit might be a checkpoint. I don't know. Revealing, probably a checkpoint because you have to reveal them. So you reveal 1, you reveal 2. Technically, you reveal this and trash this from HQ. So sorry, you reveal this from HQ, then you trash it from HQ. Let's just say they're all 4 different checkpoints. I don't know. Then you draw a card. Checkpoint, question mark. You reveal up to 2 agendas in HQ and or archives. So that happens sequentially. So we'll reveal the one in archives, which is a face down send a message. So you have to like reveal it by flipping it face up. Then you have to reveal the one in HQ by showing it to your opponent and not goofing it. Okay. Then you have to grab them. Checkpoint. Then you have to shuffle them into R&D. Checkpoint. That is not 21 checkpoints. The checkpoints are for abilities that get triggered, like Nuving would see the expend during a checkpoint. We both have the second monitor content. Streamer doesn't know task is great content. Checkpoints are points where the game state progress is not paid abilities. Yeah, but like, I don't know all the cards that could possibly interact with this. So like, okay, reveal and trash. Is there anything that fires on trash? Yes, there is. You trash this from HQ, there's a checkpoint because there's like an AU code checkpoint for trashing. Is there a reveal checkpoint? Yeah, there's a reveal checkpoint because that NBN, sorry, that Jinteki identity from Ashes that I don't have the name of right now, that can fire off of that. Yeah, so that works. There's an expend checkpoint here. So expending technically is a text that we're not using. Wait, this is not an expend card? Oh, expendable is a subtype. Sorry, not a theme. So like that's a Nuving window too when you expend this thing. Yeah, Hyobu, thank you. Yeah. Locking in did not help. So that's a checkpoint. Drawing a card is technically a checkpoint because I can interact with cards that draw cards. So like, what's it called? The News Now hour. No, I'm kidding. What's it called? The daily business show. So drawing a card is a checkpoint because there's things that interact when you draw cards. Revealing is a checkpoint because again, Hyobu, as much as Hyobu's first time a turn, and or archives. Shuffling them into R&D is probably a checkpoint. I didn't. Now you're good enough to give me a real game. I think that's what I got for my checkpoints there. I don't know how we're getting to 21 possible, but I think I don't see how there's 21 here. Spending a credit probably is a checkpoint. I don't know if there's anything that checks when the corpse spends a credit. I don't think there is. But technically, if you have like what's it called on the table, something that cares about your credit threshold, that could change. Like you have that big red eye, I forget the name of it, that asset that says if you have 10 or multiples of 15, your ice stuff goes down. So spending credits kind of, you scored 5 points. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, I did play the Descent. Reveal and shuffle is one sentence, so I think the checkpoint is after the shuffle. But there's something that happens at reveal. You're right, like this would happen quickly, but like I'm assuming the point of checkpoints is to be annoying, so they might be separate things. Hype for Boston Megas, I still need to make my throwback decks. Is that day 2 content? Funky man, have fun. Looks like there's a lot of folks in Boston, a lot of nice folks. I'm bummed I'm not there, but I think you're all gonna have a great time. I don't know. Me and the Speed Racer had a game midstream, and then just JNet got mad at me. Did you try and play a Descent in 21 steps wrong? No, Lucy, I don't got it. If you have a write-up of what all these checkpoints are, I will be frustrated to read them. But yeah, I have no idea. Without getting like a lot of sequential hints, like I'm not going to get smarter at this suddenly. I think that's the issue. I've sent you a link. Okay, fantastic. It's a Google Doc called Playing Descent. What is happening? Okay, mark sheet, score 1 point, link to solution. It's in a small window down here. How do I make this a big window? Okay. Oh my God. Announce the intent to trigger the paid ability Descent. I mean, yeah, touche. In any order, lose a click, move a credit from your credit pool to the bank. In order, show the front face of Descent to the runner, return Descent to its previous state, add Descent to archives phase up. I mean, I could have figured that out. That is actually very, very good. This is the sort of thing where like, you tell a kid to explain how to make a peanut butter sandwich, and then they're obviously a kid. And making a peanut butter sandwich is not difficult, but they're still a kid and you can be a dick about it. A checkpoint occurs. What do you mean? These weren't checkpoints? I thought we were just meant to say the checkpoints. Pass interrupt priority. This game has interrupt priority? I guess it does. I hate that for us. Set aside the top card from R&D. You may look at it. The checkpoint occurs. Add the set aside card to HQ. Oh, because that's how drawing works. That's good. It's healthy. That's good. That's how drawing works. In any order? I don't know why I'm so against this. I like a good rules engine. Announce a card in HQ as a target. It must be the off-world office. Clearly indicate if such that it can be identified for the remainder of the instruction. I need to take a second here for people tuning in. If you were a new player and you're thinking of coming to a tournament and you're like, I don't want to go to a tournament because I'm going to play Descent wrong and I'm going to get in trouble. This is not what this is. This is madness. This is not anything relevant to anybody besides Lucy. So like, this doesn't matter. I want to be very clear. Netrunner is an approachable game. Playing Descent is a click and a credit and you just do the text on it. None of this matters. Regardless, announce a card in HQ as a target. Announce a face down card in archives as the target. Clearly indicated such that it can be identified for the remainder of this instruction. Do not change its face up, face down position or location. Pass intro. I'm worried about the person who got 14 points or whatever, because they're probably making a good peanut butter sandwich. In any order, in order. Oh, in any order, nested in order. So funny. In any order, do these steps. These steps are in order in this. Show the front face of off-world office. Return off-world office to its previous state. Okay, if you gave me one of these lines, like if you told me this was a sub-step, I think I could have got 12 points easily. Because I can break it down when I need to break it down. First, my virus is secret text. Now we have Descent into Madness. It's a wild card. A checkpoint occurs here for no reason. 9.5.7 per F. What the heck is this possibly? Again, if you're watching this and you're a new Netrunner player, do not watch this. Turn this off. 9.5.7 F. Step of using a paid ability. A checkpoint occurs. Fuck off. Oh, 9.5.7 F is a checkpoint occurs. This is ridiculous. This is like near parody, but also bless everyone. This is great. Stuck on behind a bunch of red tape to play Descent. Everyone in a tournament goes through the whole process. Each turn takes 45 minutes, but it's worth it. I mean, if you clearly land a Descent, it is honestly like, it's a secret thrill that literally no one has ever done. Nobody gets the fact that you have to unreveal the revealed card before you do anything. Yeah. That is like intuitive enough. Like, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have said that, but you have to unreveal the card. You have to return the card to its place before you can continue on. Because reveal is show and then bring back. But the thing is, like, people are nice, so they show and just say you can look at it. because who cares? If you go to the relevance tab, I can explain why each step should be needed for. Oh no. What do you mean needed for? Oh, the text between. Oh, for the reasons why they matter. Okay, I'm into this. Lose a click, paying the cost of descent. Great. Paying the cost of descent in order. Show the front face of descent. Hyobu would care. Yes, nailed it. Pay the cost of descent. A checkpoint occurs. Hyobu, the first time you reveal a card. Nailed it. Daily business show. It's like we knew the script. Set aside the top card from R&D. You may look at it. Jinja City requires a step is performed. Does it? Isn't Jinja when you draw? I guess, yeah, Jinja has a step here because you put the card aside. You don't worry about Jinja Grid, but technically whenever you draw a piece of ice, you may reveal it. So whenever you draw a card, technically this can fire if it's an ice, technically. Also, yeah, Atea, I guess that's neat. Checkpoint occurs, hypothetical runner card text. We're at hypothetical runner card text. When the corp adds a card to HQ from any zone, you may credit to force the corp to reveal it. You can't make hypothetical checkpoint. Like, there's a real checkpoint here, but for hypothetical reasons, it's so funny. Hypothetical runner text, interrupt, host a power can to prevent one card from being shuffled into R&D as a kind of anti-shuffle clot-esque card, anti-Alexa Belsky text. That's so ridiculous. I hope the next deck of the week is some sweet comfort food. Feels like Andre has slowly been unraveling each Netrunner stream. It's the heat, man. It's like half the heat. It's mostly the heat, honestly. I think this is funny, though. Hypothetical corp card text, when you shuffle R&D using ability, draw a card. Note, Nuven fires after all of this. So anyone who said Nuven is not clever. That's cool, Lucy. I can't believe you wrote this out. This is an absurd amount of work. I mean, you need to checkmate for hypothetical cards because otherwise you're rewriting the comp rules every time a new kind of card gets printed. That's how it should be. There should be one rule in the game, and then every card adds a rule. Netrunner should just be like Munchkin or whatever. Just have one rule, and then everybody gets to add one rule at a time, and eventually you get a complex engine. It won't fall apart. Just make good cards. What are you talking about? Contingencies for contingencies? Yes. And one day we will build this card. It says C Note Designer. We're working on this. Flux? Okay, excuse me. It's Star Trek Flux, yeah. Yeah. Red Step's a shame. So there are other cards that could need those checkpoints, just not Descent. Yeah. I do get that. That's fine. Nuveng specifically waits for the end of all the madness so you don't have to worry about checkpoints. Yeah, imagine you had to interrupt the Nuveng while your thing was resolving. It would be so annoying. Because Wiki does do that for what it's worth. Is whenever you get credits, it interrupts, which hasn't been a problem so far, but you could see it being annoying at some point. You can kind of goof it up. Yeah, one rule. All you need is one good rule. One rule to rule them all. Carlos, yeah, easy. Get one good solid rule. Make your game. It's that simple. When I tried to learn Netrunner to see if I wanted to buy it, I tried to read the CR. Oh my God, Jinxie, no, because that's how I learned rules of board games that melted my brain. I didn't play for 6 months. The CR is an incredible document, but it should not be touched by the majority of people. It should be a lot of other people's jobs to like diffuse that information in a more approachable way, because the CR is so good compared to a lot of other card games. I play a lot of card games where the rules are like not great. And they're never better than that. Like if you go at the crunchiest rulebook explanation, they still use language that's not defined. They use English language to explain things like, I don't know, they just like pay things and then they don't explain what paying things means. So like the CR is genuinely incredible, but the problem is like it's also, you know, exactly as terse as it is, or not terse, the opposite of terse. It's as dry as it is. The CR literally begins with the words, "This is not intended to be read." Yeah, exactly. Don't read this. Please don't read this. This is just basically like reading the code behind the engine. You should not read it. Props to you for reading it. I have not read it. Very few people have read the whole CR. Very, very, very few people. Gaze not into the abyss, lest ye be considered an abyss domain expert. And they keep asking you to gaze into the damn thing. They say pay things, but they don't explain what paying that is. I have to break it to you, but the cost chapter in our CR does that too. Get out. I had to look up at the other day playing Arkham Horror. What does the word look at mean? Because they didn't define look at. Can I look at a card that's already revealed? Can I just look at a card? Because it says look at this card. Can I look at the unrevealed side if it's revealed? And obviously there's no like rules entry about what look at means, but that's what I mean. Sometimes it gets really, really kind of weird. The only way to consume the CR is the 14-hour QTM ASMR. I haven't listened to all of that, but I do need to put that on every once in a while. You look up all the rules on there and that's all you get. Yeah, I do check them for rules questions. They're good and they're really well formatted that you can grab like hyperlinks out of them for sure. Okay. It's nearly 11, so we're gonna have to do this really quickly, but look at this graph. I wanted to try and play Control Criminal, or basically like take a punt at looking what Control Criminal would look like. So we have to play Criminal. Now, when it comes to criminal, we want to be running as little as possible. And that's kind of our game plan to see if you can make a criminal deck with 45 cards that doesn't feel terrible without having to run all the time. And the idea is that if you're playing against things like Méliès, running all the time feels bad. Now, running all the time is good into things like PD and into AU code to some extent. So like this might still academically be like not really something worth pursuing, but we'll probably learn something about the card pool. So we're going to try and build a criminal deck that runs as little as possible, but as impactfully as possible when it does matter. So the first thing we obviously have to do is pick an identity. And the problem is most of the identities care about running. And that is both the quirk of criminal, but also like potentially, you know, what's less interesting about criminal. It feels like on the shaper side, we have a lot of shapers that want to run, or we have some shapers that want to run, and we have a lot of shapers that don't want to run. Anarchs, it feels like it's kind of in the mix. I feel like more Anarchs do want to be running consistently. Maybe the only one that doesn't is Essa, probably. All the other ones have, Topon does want to run, but criminal, they all want to run besides one. Right, like Baz needs to be running because Ice needs to be res. Mercury is all about running. Moosely Hot's all about run events. Vic is all about playing DreamNet, so run events, and Zayed's clearly about running. So there's only one identity that you could even argue is about not running, and it's as much as does have the whole like you run with Boomer a prognostic masterwork engine, which we're probably not gonna be playing that because it requires you to be running all the time. But as means we can just sit there and get a credit, a turn, a value, which is unique to modern criminal, in which everything requires interaction. So we will start with this and see what we can do. So the weird thing is like there's probably a lot of good criminal cards like Bravado that are probably still worth playing because we are going to have to make some amount of runs, but I don't think we want to make a deck that has like 15 or 20 run events in it. So we'll have to kind of figure out how this works. I think the first thing we want to address is how do we win the game? And the problem is like criminal does not have a strong win condition. They're the only faction that really does not have a win condition outside of Jachinyo, which is really bizarre. And it's been like this for a long time. It's like the criminal multi-axis in the game is clumsy and it's almost all targeted towards HQ. So like the only true win condition I think you have is unfortunately the win condition that is generally hard to get good value of because corporations like already inherently ice HQ and make it hard to run HQ because you have some good power cards around HQ. But Waking Plan is technically your R&D multi-axis you have access to. We're not going to be talking about Moo Safecracker here. So that's kind of all you have. Otherwise, you have like Docklands Pass and Copulation and New Legwork and all those cards see cards from HQ, but that's it. That's it, which stinks. We've lost 2 consoles in the last 2 releases that seemed like they could be alternate win conditions. Like Detente is technically HQ multi-axis and pressure, which could be fine. Of course, Rotary could have been multi-axis on any server, which could have been fine, but this card is not particularly great. Maybe there's a chance that this is better for us, but I think if we're playing Control Criminal at the end of the day, like we're probably playing Hermes anyways, because if we're going to run when it matters, Hermes is the reason why we want to run. We want to run R&D, see 4 cards or what we can, and then bounce the thing in the remote server. Like this allows us to play Control because it gives us like ability to manipulate the board state and to slow the corporation down, which we want all those sort of things. I think we are talking about Moo Safecracker. I hope we're not, but it's the closest thing we have, and that's an issue. Mind you, Anarch has access to Finality, has access to Sabotage, it has access to the Twinning. Shaper has access to like multi-axis with like Conduit and Devadata drones and what's her name, Pretty Mary, but most importantly, maybe Deep Dive. And Criminal has kind of that's it. So like we probably on principle have to spend 6 of our influence or on 2 copies of the Twinning because we need to find one as soon as possible. Now, on top of that, we need to charge Twinning. Baker's not a win condition. Baker's just a way to move runs, right? Like you can't say your win condition is Baker. It's just like, oh, you could use Baker on top of something else to like charge up your Waking Plan slightly cheaper. I mean, like maybe, but ultimately probably not. And so far we've seen probably not, right? Hear me out. What if you win Cataloger? Oh, Cataloger. That's another shaper win condition. Yeah, that's true. We could play Cataloger, and Cataloger with Hermes could make sense. The problem is it's 4 influence, and so I'm not super excited. The thing that we're going to run into is the problem is like Twinning is only good if you can charge it. And in Criminal, generally you're charging it by running because you can fire things like, what's it called? Chesva, or you can use Touchstone, or you can use your companions. So we're probably kind of forced into playing Twinning and then maybe playing Mantle and then firing it twice as fast by just like throwing credits into the void, or of course playing Paladin and Mystic, which would be relatively straightforward. So we're kind of gated in what we have to do to win. We could do weird things with Cataloger, I guess. They don't kind of ice R&D that hard against you, so it could work out. It's 4 influence, not even 3. Yeah, it's 4. It's a lot of influence. Indexing was 3 back in the day, I'm pretty sure. Are we finding win condition to R&D multi-axis? Any multi-axis. any ability to see more cards. It doesn't have to be R&D because Criminal has HQ multi-access. And this is the weird thing is like people complained about, you know, Shaper getting HQ multi-access or HQ power cards. Criminal largely has, and NSG shifted to be more about Central's pressure kind of generically. Like Wake Implant is a weird card. We've never seen a card like this. Like in the history of Netrunner, there's only ever been one card in FFG time that said R&D on it for Criminal, I'm pretty sure. And it was a typo. It was meant to say HQ. And then we got things like Zaya. We got things like Wake Implant. Like NSG is way better making Criminal just about running central servers in general. The issue is like most of their payoffs are about running HQ. And so like this card is a bit kind of twisted. I'm worried that if we're doing twinning and companions, we're going to end up getting funneled into making something that looks a lot like a Red Crim. I think Speed Racer, we're going to try not to, but obviously we can. So we have to figure out how to get around that. Trashing all their ice is a win condition, right? Kind of, but not necessarily, but kind of. How much you want to bet we're just going to convert into reg as I made? I think we're likely going to get there because you're playing a pretty like reg setup as. I want to see what we can do to get away from that within the card pool that we have, but I don't think it's going to be that different, Meteor. I'm pretty sure we're going to end up on we're going to basically figure out the limits, and the limits are probably not going to be that far away. The Venn diagram is not that wide, but we're going to see what we can do to get value without running. So the question is, how do we charge twinning? And like 2 Paladin Puemo might be it. Like Mystic Miami is better if you're playing a lot of events to run. So 2 Paladins puts us at 6, and then we'll be constantly set up with Paladin and Az. That's a lot of good value, but we need to be able to charge the twinning super, super consistently. And Paladin's the only other way. The only other thing that we could do to charge consistently without running is Mantle. Mantle maybe encourages us to play a bit of stealth. The Seekers, I built a deck with exact mandate. Okay, we're gonna end up with the same deck. What about trying to lock the remote and then importing some Hushix as a win con? Hushik's okay. It's also like 3 or 4 influence though, right? Hugh with a K. Oh, it's 2 influence. I mean, maybe. The thing is with this, we have to install a lot of different cards, but Hushik might be reasonable as a way to like fire Hermes consistently. I could see this being okay. This is the sort of deck that would actually like unironically play Maker's Eye if you could. Pretty Mary and Drones are all 1 influence, and saving influence is worth something. Yeah, Pretty Marion Drones is worth something. Mind you, Eru is another Anarch win condition that we could import, which works with control and with like twinning and all this sort of stuff. It's a bit more aggressive. Does technically work with Az, but like all these cards are from different factions. Theory Az helps you install. Yes, we're going to like the Az install a fair bit. Open market can theoretically charge twinning. Yes, I guess let's just start with the things in faction that we know we're going to be playing. So we're definitely going to be playing 3 sure gambles, and then the connections or resources are going to be really important because a lot of these cards will give us value without requiring us to run. So for instance, we're going to play 3 copies of Open Market, and we're going to play 3 copies of Daily Cast, and that's actually a lot of money in a deck. I hope we don't have to run, I'll be honest. Well, like that's already a relatively good start. And then most of these other cards do require some runs. We could play 2 NFLs if we wanted to. It's a click for 3, which is not amazing. What about Anarch Maker's Eye? It's a bit too much influence. It's like twice as much influence, isn't it? It's 1 more influence than we want it to be. Like we want to be playing R&D interface. We want to play a Maker's Eye. We want to get that consistency. What else can we play here that like gives us value without requiring us to run all the time? It's like, that's kind of what Criminal does, for better, for worse. But like all these cards are kind of interaction pilled. Class Act is good. We'll play Class Act. We're definitely going to need more card draw, and that's the issue. Is like we're now going to have to be playing Nukas or something, and we might not have space to do that. We can spend some influence on something else, but I'm not sure. Now, our Breaker Suite's really interesting too, because we don't have to play the best Breaker Suite because we're not going to be running that often. You could argue backstitching. I mean, you could, but like then we have a backstitching to line up on the turn where we wanted to fire. It's like kind of comparable to a Boomerang, but worse. It breaks ice without running at it. No, you have to run though. The thing is, like, I don't know if this is on archives. Whether they have any reason to run archives. You're right. We could set up with this and then just hope for the best, and maybe it does convert. Like maybe we could try this as like a siege engine. But like it'll slow down the opponent. I think if they see a backstitching, they're gonna get a bit scared. I used to play Hushik Az, but stop when prepaid rotated. Yeah, Hushik is not the worst card. Okay. So our Breaker Suite is probably no nonsense. Like in theory, we probably still do want a Chesva because we're going to be running some amount, but like Chesva is only good the more often you use it. So maybe it's just not as good as another econ card. But like Chesva is just relatively good with what we want to be doing. So probably compilation is unfortunately like requires you to run a bit. Maybe we want to do it. I think we still have to play 2 of each breakers. I don't think we're the sort of Revolver and Face Check, but you could just play Revolver. I was thinking the other day is like Revolver is technically the modern Fairy if you're familiar with the card, but then when we played Laser Pointer, we kind of liked it a heck of a lot. I'm forgetting laser pointer doesn't just say any sentry or code gate. It says AP destroyer or observer. But this card is way better in the meta than I think it is right now. Like it's good enough against Ob. It's good against any Jinteki deck. NBN is kind of a mix. Observer does show up there. Against HB, it doesn't really do that much. But like this card was really sick when we were bypassing like just stuff for 2 credits. I like this a lot actually. Pinhole and Cup still feels like a control game plan. I think Cup probably is right. Pinhole definitely is right. And we probably even play 3 of them. And that's also good for the Chesva. But like we do have to just like pinhole down the what's her name? The Charlotte before she gets out of control. What sentries in standard does laser pointer not hit? Drafter, I guess. What other sentries are you hitting that this doesn't hit? So Jinteki, it wouldn't be many of them. Technically does not break Event Horizon. You could pay 6, but that's not great. Drafter, Event Horizon. I'm assuming Doomscroll Doomscroll and Starlit Knight are observers. I'm guessing they are. I don't know what is an observer. It wasn't always used consistently. This is an observer. Scarlet Knight is probably an observer. Starlit Knight, excuse me. Yeah, maybe most things. Yeah, Drafter and EH are the main ones, but it gets all the Jeki ones. Yeah, yeah. So it's probably not that bad, honestly. The thing is, like, is this better than just using Revolver multiple times? Maybe not. Event Horizon should be a destroyer. I don't think it is. Oh, maybe it is actually because it does destroy programs. I just searched destroyer. It doesn't feel like it's a destroyer. Oh, it is a destroyer. Ah, yeah, it is a destroyer. So like just Drafter. How do we feel about Cat's Cradle? Mid. But how do we feel about any Decoder and Criminal? Mid. Yeah. So actually there's just one big sentry, I think. That's kind of funny. Winchester is a destroyer. Obviously Stavka is a destroyer. Like this is not that bad of a card. Oh, Flywheel. If you're seeing Flywheels, you can't deal with Flywheels. F2P you can pay through. Yeah, Drafter. Yeah, Kevin, how's it going? Yeah, so there's not that many. The question is this card better than a Revolver? And the answer is probably Revolver is a slight bit more, but it gives you way more runs. But Laser Pointer ain't bad. It's not bad at all. And like outside of most Jinteki decks, the only thing that hard ends to run is Tattoo Bola. Like this gets through Samak-Samun, it gets through Botu, it gets through every code gate besides like if they're playing a hard end to run off of what's it called? Like a scatter, Fly Swatter. Like you can't just do laser pointer transfer against Jinteki and it'll probably go through. That being said, Tattoo Bola and HQ is not uncommon against transfer, but like this beats most ice in every Jinteki deck besides Bola. I love that it beats Botu. Like it's really good that it beats Botu for free. Okay. We could spend influence on our breakers, like once we get to the late game, but we're not running that much, so we probably don't have to have a good breaker suite. We could be running a couple times and playing multiple revolvers to keep it cheap. I think Crim could get more odd breakers like Gingerbread, so it could have a very different looking breaker suite. I wouldn't mind that if Criminal had the weird breaker suite, because Shaper doesn't seem to really be swinging into it. Anarch really doesn't. Cat's Cradle's not bad. For what it's worth, I think Tread Lightly is actually not bad in this deck. Because the problem with Tread Lightly, it's like Tread Lightly gets worse the more you run. The less you run, when you run the remote server, it has 2 ice on it. Like Tread Lightly becomes way better. And then like Cat's Cradle starts to add up a bit. Like obviously this is a run event that's incidental, but like when they do 2 ice on the remote server and you Tread Lightly it, like you have to force them to res both ice for this card to be really good. Otherwise they just res 1. But it's like a surprisingly impactful card compared to like even event. Like we play transfer and are okay with transfer being a 3 credit loss for the corp as much as it is like a 9 credit swing. This is just a 3 credit loss. Tread is low-key really good. Yeah, Tread's actually not that bad. I think it's a hard card to play around. I don't mind it. And people can't play around it because they don't see it coming. We could play Cradle. God, 1 strength Cradle is terrible. But there's nothing else you can do here. Like you play Shibo and be happy for a while and then it becomes 1 strength and then it's like the same text, the Cat's Cradle, but it came down cheaper. Like maybe that's a bit better. Maybe pinging 1 or 2 credits is worth enough. Like that was when you did this in 419 and 419 just slowed the corporation down inherently. Tread Lightly, Cat's Cradle, and France Sophia Ward made pretty ice expensive, and then you Hermes bounce it. We could try France Sophia just because it is that sort of slow play style, but also like, I don't like this card. We'll try it because of the connection and it has text, but let's try the Cat's Cradle. And then we could play 1 permanent killer. Like, I think the meta is good enough to play 3 Revolver and then just be happy with it if you're not running a lot, because you should be in a good spot. So this is a lot of ice slots for icebreakers, but. Okay, Boomerang's not bad. We're just going to look through in faction. So boomerangs are not bad. This means you can force a big twinning run if you need to. Shout out things that you want to play. Docklands Pass is okay. If you're running HQ every once in a while, like this is probably easier to play than some of the run events. And we're also so like we just like slowly play that. The issues, we have really bad card draw and that's hard to fix without spending influence. Like what's her name is really good. Nuka's really, really good, which is going to mean the Paladin Puemo gets challenged. 2 Hermes, maybe 3. Off topic, do you think Terraforming Mars has more replayability than Brass Birmingham? Daniel, I've only played Terraforming Mars once. I want to be clear. I don't think I like it anywhere near as much as other similar games like Ark Nova. I'm not an expert on it. I've only played it once. But from my understanding, the makers of Terraforming Mars are like kind of ghouls at this point. They've said some pretty horrible shit consistently on the internet. So yeah, I'm not going to give them any attention. I think they're pretty shitty people. So yeah, I don't know. Brass Birmingham sick though. I didn't like Terraforming Mars before I knew this information for what it's worth. Aren't Terraforming Mars makers also using AR? Yeah, they're using AR art proudly, even though they have so much money. I think they've said some pretty, like, I don't want to say anything because I'm going to not 100% know the story, but they've just been kind of hateful, shitty people. Yeah, exactly. AR art is the least of their issues. They're very garbage people. Okay. We're not going to do prognostic because we're not about running. Well, prognostic doesn't have to be about running, but it's better when you're running because half the text on it. We could just use it to set up aggressively. All of these cards care about running a lot, turns out. Mag Electric is fun with some D-res stuff, but it's mostly a run card. Jachino technically works, or sorry, Lucky Charm technically works if you're doing like a big HQ play and then threaten to remote server. I worry that we don't have enough ice or enough money for non-interacting. And like that's probably what we're going to run into here. So like Tailgate, we could play one. Maybe the Dawkins Pass is the tailgate we have. We need more draw, and it's not sellout. It's never sellout. This card doesn't make a lot of sense. Sorry. A reprise could make sense because we want to hold this for an impactful turn where we do like, you know, Hermes reprises, and all we need to do is fill the twinning as much as possible. That means we want to be installing more cards. So the issue is like, I don't know if we have more cards we can install that give us like forward anything really. We need to install cards because that's the only way we get. Yeah, I just don't know fundamentally the card pool can allow us to get away with this. Speaking of that, like we probably still play 3 Bravados, I'm assuming. Smartware's time to shine. I mean, I'm considering it, but the problem is like Smartware doesn't fire Paladin Puemo. It doesn't. Like we need cards that actually cost something to install. Also, Smartware's a bit awkward because I think it's either a job or a connection. It's a connection. And so it eats the as trigger. Technically, you can do them in a better order, but like those are the kind of cards that we would want. I am assuming it's too slow. But like we just need more cards that are uninteractive money. Like I think Rent Rioters is also too slow, but we'd want cards like this. But just because devs are horrible doesn't mean the game is bad. I just heard some people prefer Terraforming Mars over Brass. But it's more so that I don't want to give them money. Like I don't want to support their company. So at the end of the day, how good their game is doesn't matter because the only ways I can interact with the game usually mean that they profit from it, right? This is asking for scarcity back. Yep. But I did play Terraforming once and I thought it was a very dated design. But again, I'm not an expert. I played it once. There's a lot of expansions and stuff. I don't like the backstitchings. We're not gonna be happy to draw them. How do we use Paladin twinning? Sorry, how do we use twinning? We need Nukas. Like I think we just need Nuka by law. So we probably have to do this. And then if we can find one more companion that gives us credits that we can use without interacting, that would be the best case. Like if we can charge the twinning without interacting, that'd be great. We have open markets, which could do it. We have still 2 influence, which could do it. How do we, like what econ cards can we play in this game that don't require us to run? They're probably connections is my guess. Unless we're playing like creative commissions over and over and again, which I'd be surprised if that's what we're doing. But how many of these cards can give us money without forcing us to touch, like to make runs? There's not that many, is there? Yeah, Mantle's like a consideration. Mantle's not bad because it allows us to double fire, which would be pretty good. But like, I don't want to rush towards Mantle. Changeling Fermenter. Yeah, Fermenter's not bad. Fermenter's okay. It's the only thing that they can purge out. So Fermenter's okay. The thing is like, we don't have any Fermenter recursion. So it's like a bit touchy. Like Friendo, kind of, but it's not very good. Telework is not bad, actually. I like that. Mystic. Yeah, the problem with Mystic is we want to play as few events as we can. But Mystic's not bad. It's just like we want to play fewer run events than the normal criminal. Telework kind of hits the bill. I think Telework is 2 influence, unfortunately. But Telework is a job and has 9 credits on it. Like this is exactly what the deck wants. It's just a lot of influence. So if Telework were not creative, because it's a job and it is more money in a single card. Touchstone is Mystic at home. Yeah, but for Touchstone to be good, you have to be running. Right? Like we have to play a lot of events and then we only get the credits when we run. We're trying to not play a lot of events and we're not trying to run that much. Unless the events are good, but a lot of the events are run based. I can't believe we're on 2 tread lightly is no Dirty laundries. Clean getaways, excuse me. Like, at least that's the way I see it. We could be way wrong about it. Like, Penumbral Toolkit you can install for like +2 credits. With, like, maybe it's better because we can play this technically alongside 2 copies of Paladin Puemo, and it's a bit better. Obviously, you want to run HQ, but this becomes like a 3 credit install with Puemo. It becomes a 4 credit install with Puemo sometimes. Like, maybe that's what we're trying to get to. I'd be surprised. Yeah, Rent Riders is a consideration. The problem is, like, Rent Riders in 2026, spending 3 clicks to get 9 credits is way too slow. And then with As, like, you want to install a card also, so it's your whole turn. I mean, this either had to be a bigger payout or less clicks, obviously. But like, spending 3 clicks and then passing the turn is terrible. Telework is marginally better than Creative with As discount, but it pays 9 credits over 4 clicks versus CC places 4 over 1. The thing is, like, I think we're not trying to get efficiency. We're trying to get length. We're basically trying to say, like, how much money can we get without interacting? And the thing is, like, Shaper's pretty good at that because they have Coalescence, they have all the selling abilities, they have creatives. They don't really play Telework anymore. You need a Julie? I don't think so. I see where you're coming at. But Julie only has like 2 targets in her deck. 2 Teleworks? The first time you take an action on a resource, remove a power count to get a click. So it's only Telework and technically Nuka. I mean, that's probably not it. She's a neat card though. Yeah, I don't love this. This doesn't feel good. Like, maybe we should be running a bit more. Was Day Job good when it was in Standard? It was before my time. It was good in Standard. Spending your whole turn to get 8 credits was good enough in Standard. But you had very impactful turns after that turn. It was just a good enough comeback button. It wasn't in every deck, but there were certain decks that played it. Because it was just like uninteractable money. You just gained 8. That was it. It's weird how that was. And it felt very the Anarch, which is kind of cool too. Okay, how is this? We still have 2 slots left. We're over 2 influence. I feel like Paladin Puemo, if we open it with their golden, if we don't open with Paladin Puemo, the twinning is going to be sad. We could also try playing Gachapon to search for things and thin our deck. This could get Paladin, could get twinning. That's important. If it whiffs, we have no other virtuals that are worth playing. We could still play Stealth. If we win Mantle and then we just played After Image, like maybe that's fine. Mantle's not super important, but allows us to charge the twinning no matter what. And then we could have to play After Image as our like 1 killer, and that's a good card. I don't know if we have to play other Stealth Breakers. Blueberry Diesel to get the minimum deck size. I think we just play Clean Getaway sooner than Blueberry Diesel, but if you want to just be able to sit back and spin wheels to charge twinning, it's going to look like you need every reg runner with 5 installed Rezekis. Yeah, I think that's a problem. It's like all the criminal cards do run. But man, I just want to do this. I want to do simple Netrunner. I want to sit back and make money. 1 After Image feels so silly with only 1 Mantle. Yeah, this can't be it. This can't be it. Actually, 1 Mantle without Stealth could be it. This is just a Rezeki, right? That's just a Rezeki. Rezeki's good. Rezeki's good. 220 Paladin, a Mantle. Yeah, Rezeki's good. Let's say Rezeki's worth it. Penumbral Paladin? Penumbral Paladin might not be terrible. Like, it's just an econ card we can install. The thing is, like, is it better than just playing No Free Lunch? I don't know. But I do think Clean Getaway is better than No Free Lunch. So let's see what this draw's like. This hand's not great. This hand is okay. Rezeki worth it, bold takes, really. Miami, if you want another Rezeki. I don't think so. We only have, well, now we added 3 more events, but we used to only have 12 events. So I don't think Mystic was actually that good. And the thing with this is we can fire it on the corpse turn, right? What about a board setup that's comfy enough so you can just sit back and click for creds while waiting for the corp to flood up while they secure the remote? That's kind of the goal, right? For a Mantle, can we play After Image? No, I don't think so. Because this is our only stealth generator in the whole deck, and functionally After Image needs at least 2 stealth credits. So if we want to play After Image, we need to play more stealth cards, which means we could, but we're trying to test whether a single Mantle is good enough, right? Because After Image is not a bad breaker, and even with a single stealth credit, After Image is like functional, but we have to find the one of After Image, we have to find the one of Mantle, and that won't line up really well. You know what I mean? Clearly need to play the artist. Infinite econ, you're telling me. I mean, this is okay-ish, but like, no, these do not look great. Like, we can do Hermes, Clean Getaway R&D, maybe get a bounce, who cares? Draw a bit. We need to get these down. We start drawing some cards. I mean, this is not awful, but like, if we don't draw a 20, we don't do anything. I'm going to try it. This is a good hand. Yeah, 1, 2, probably 3. Yeah, now we're gaming. 1, 2, probably 3. Yeah, we can do this. All of our deck lists recently have just been in quotes because they don't do what they want to do. Because usually what we want to do is not possible in the card pool. But we're gonna learn something, that's for sure. Let's get this in. Oh, excuse me, export. JNet. Import runner deck. Your deck does nothing without twinning. There's a tutor for it in faction. There technically is. There is always a tutor for your twinning. We try and forget about that until you build the deck with only virtuals and connections, and then it's like kind of cool. Hey, Lucy. Being able to Nuka draw, gamble, and turn one play is my favorite thing about Az right now. Yeah, it's really cute to get the Nuka down for free. Ed, okay. So this is a very potentially fast matchup. We have we put Francifia Ward in the deck. Why do we do that? Lucy Mulligan, so she doesn't have the Vulture Fund. That's good. I don't like most of this hand. We're going to mulligan into a better hand. That's a much better hand. So we have to beat Valen Chow's, which is just by having money. So Spin Doctor Start is good. I don't know if it's just my own experience, but running 2x Breakers Boomerang, sometimes I struggle to find the Fractal Decoder and getting rushed out harder. I feel that too. And if the meta is too fast, this whole deck idea is not worth it. But I do feel that too. So I usually do play at least one mutual. Because a lot of the criminal decks right now, if you can't make successful runs, they don't do anything. So like getting your Breakers down very, very quickly is important. Lucy's going to expend descent and crash the whole server. All right, so we have Az, Nuka. Nice. Again, Az is our first job. Resource or connection resource, or hardware is one cheaper. So we can put down both of these. We need to get our money up for sure. I think we can just click for credit, but having more money than editorial matters because we have to beat Valen Chow's usually. I don't know what editorial this is. We'll start that. Next turn we'll draw with Nuka. How far are we fallen from Congress, Kate? Yeah, I just want to, what's it called? I want to Caddy Jones, just to unoptimally hit, suboptimally hit. So this could be seamless into a 4-2 if she pushes here. We don't have a boomerang, but on 9 credits, like a tread lightly into the remote server actually does sting a bit. We also could do nothing, but we have no way to charge the twinning as much as we found the twinning. So we do twinning casts. Ideally, we install a hardware or a job or a connection. So we could get a Docklands down. We definitely want a Hermes. How's the net? It's okay, Ren. How's it going? How you been? I want a third Hermes, I think. I want a third Hermes. I think Hermes is actually the most important card to draw because it allows you to do something here. But we can't just ignore this and set up. So I don't know what sentries we're expecting, but we could do Revolver Cast twinning. The twinning is not that important here because it doesn't do much. We could draw to 8 and do install. That's also not great. We don't have a reason to run this because we're playing control. We could Bravado it. Click draw and Bravado actually beats Piranhas. I don't think Piranhas is that popular in editorial. Like this is more likely to be Valen Chow, which Bravado might beat. I mean, I'm control, but I'm going to check this, I think. If it gives us a tag, we don't care. We could put a Revolver down first. But like Valen Chow is the most popular edit. No, I'm ping. I mean, okay. That makes sense. Okay. Playing Daily Cast of Criminals is what I want to do, I think, is most of it. Third Spin Doctor? Are you kidding me? That's absurd. We don't know what this is. Could be an amaze. Could be an agenda chilling. She may just be looking for what's it called? A seamless. I don't know what that would be. Okay, so we can't get into the, oh, we can get in the remote server. I think we do. I misclicked. You don't want to run the Spin Doctor. I can't tell what this is. I think it's an amaze. It's a crypto crash. Okay, we'll take it. So she's looking for a seamless there. Why are there 3 getaways? Because we got the 42 cards and it's good enough. But like, I do want 3 Hermes in the list. We can install this for 3. We could get Oppo here, but it's not that bad. We'll be on 8 credits next turn. Great. Nice. Open market's good for twinning, but we have nothing to install with it. Yes, twinning is kind of dying in our hand. We can always just like run centrals and pump Chesba, but that's not what the deck should be doing. I feel like I want to tread lightly every turn just to run the server, to play control. Single advance. Okay, so Boomerang beats this. What is this? Like, we have all our breakers. Do we not just beat this? So we're in 8 credits, thinking. If it's a Valen Chow, if it Piranhas, we just beat it. The Valen Chow, it's rezzed for 5. So that's huge. So she goes into 1. She hasn't fired her ability yet, but I don't know why we can't just do Catch Grid or Revolver Run. Oh, if we run this now, if she rezzes a Valen Chow, it costs her 6. So she'll be on 2, we'll be on 2. Does that end the run? What's the Valen Chow text? Because she has to res it for 1 more. So she is on 2. End the run if you have more credits. No, so we actually do get in. Yeah, this looks like a witch hunt. It looks like an agenda jam. We have all our breakers in our control deck. The Cat's Cradle has text. So Valen Chow is expensive. Looks like we're not rezzing, so I don't know if this is garbage, like a trap. I would love to be able to bravado this, but we can't safely. It's a witch hunt. Okay. So now she can grab something because she gets a bad pub. She gets a vulture fund. So we're probably getting a big oppo here. So the best thing we can do is get as much money as we can quickly. We could just bravado the server. That'll give us 4 credits. If we install open market, we get, it's not as good as clicking for a credit. But next turn we'll be on a couple more credits. Yeah. So we're probably getting vulture fund and then she can grab an oppo, such as the linear game plan here. But we probably had to take the witch hunt anyways. So I think we just clear as many tags as we can. I don't know if we need the DECKLISTS. So next turn we'll be on 5. We can click for credit and clear 3. Should be okay. If she doesn't put something in the remote server and just this credit vulture fund oppo, we're not too upset about it. She grabbed a Piranhas. Okay, there's the oppo, so she had it. So we can just clear 4 tags here, or 3 tags. She can trash an open market. Maybe that was a bad install because that, but she didn't grab another vulture fund. So we have to clear at least 3 tags because there's a lot of 2 tag punishment. Here on 0 credits, I don't think there's anything that bad she can do to us. Like worst case is she retributions a Kurapura, I guess. So she has a Piranhas in hand. Piranhas does cost 6 to res. Yeah. So she did install. She didn't advance. So if she has a seamless. I mean, she has a seamless. We draw, we get a double draw here. In terms of ways to get back in the money, we have a clean getaway. We definitely should consider cleaning the tag. The twinning seems a bit moot. I don't know if she's on real 3-pointers. If she scores this and it's a witch hunt, it's pretty bad for us. We could bravado and say whatever this ice is, we don't care about it. That might be right. She didn't res it when she was on 6. So if it's a Valen Chow, that's fine if we bravado it. I think we do credit bravado it and see what happens. Like maybe an F2P is bad here because we're tagged. Oh, we had bad publicity. We didn't have to click for credit. My bad. It's a grubber. Okay, that's perfect. We can bounce off of that. In theory, like getting through the ping now once is really good. But this grubber, we have to break for market rate, right? We break for 6 no matter what. So now we have to do the weird game in which we, wait, can we just run this back? We run this back. We have 9 credits. We break this for 6. We break this for 1. We're playing control, remember. Damn, a Hermes would have been good. But like this has to be an agenda. But maybe she's just trying to get a regolith through. These decks do play regolith. She's on 4 credits. Like if she scores a witch hunt, we just clear the tags, I think. The thing is we want to at least not lose everything to crypto. Nuka's good. Okay, this is still a bit ugly. Can we just pinhole it? Yeah, maybe we could. We could 2 for 1 the spin probably too. Okay, it's nothing so far. That's good. So she did jam 1 with a single advance, which means she maybe doesn't have a seamless in hand yet. She's also on 4 credits, which is not something we can really work with. We can do Nuka draw, get a lot of cards. She's still on 4 credits. All right, Paladin's here. Hermes is here. We're going to get rid of the Kurapura. So we can install Paladin Puemo for full cost. We want to install the Hermes, so if she does anything, she has a lot of points still to score. That's good. We've already used our As trigger, so I don't think she's scoring this turn if she didn't score last turn. In theory, As is really good, or sorry, Paladin's really good because it allows us to duck Crypto Crash. So if we get Crypto Crash, we still have money, access to money. We could, in theory, run Spin Doctor. She allows us to trash it. We might not to play around Oppo, but it is a thing we can do. I just don't want to install the Hermes because we've already installed the thing this turn. This could be the Piranhas, but she can't res it. I mean, the twinning seems really important. I mean, we're control. We're just going to click for credit. We don't need a Chezo with bad pub, I don't think. She just pops a spin. Cool. We saved a click. She shoveled back 2 spins. Let's go. We're control. We just click for credits. Remove tag, install Chesva? You mean throw out Chesva? I'm not running. I got a mantle at the bottom of the deck. Another going up to spin now is fine. She can't afford another Oppa. Yeah, it's okay. She did fire it, which is cool. Can't tell what this is. She did a hedge fund, so she's on 10, so slightly scary right now. All right, we want to get the twinning down, so let's find a sure gamble. Okay, we got 2 pinholes, a revolver, and a class act, so not particularly great. We can install twinning into this, so we won't use the credits on twinning, so we can paladin the Hermes for free, and then we just click for credit. I think we'll throw out the next class act because there's no world in which we can afford this. It can use the open market. It can't use the paladin next turn though. We've used both of our nukas, so our card draw here is actually just every single class act, so we might need the card draw on this. But every turn we're happy to install like a compilation or a boomerang. Oh, Holloman! Oh, that's really bad for us because now she can score out and do something. So at least we have a Hermes, but if she like trashes our twinning, oh, she just... Okay, Witch Hunt, that's not that bad. Imagine we had a transfer here. So she can grab a card. If we had a transfer, we'll take her off the Vulture Fund just she can grab here, but we're gonna have 3 tags. I mean, I don't think we're too concerned. We can remove 3 tags and even install a card. We have to pinhole the Holloman though, but not this turn. That's cool. Yeah, she needs to fix Hermes because she hasn't seen a transfer yet. So now she can't go for the Vulture Fund really easily, which is good. It's okay, we're control. It's a Witch Hunt, we'll clear 3 tags. It's worse than a Crypto Crash. We also have 3 bad publicity. So she used Witch Hunt to... Did she not get something with this? You didn't use the ID? Because this is... She got a bad publicity, so she chose not to use it? Okay, cool. That's weird. Interesting. She's nothing she wants to get? Like not even a scapegoat? So now we have the twinning. We're kind of priced into removing all the tags. So we will. And then we'll just install this to get a counter. Our money's bad. The Cheslo's out, but we can still pinhole the Holloman for free. Which I think is what we do here. So we're on 1 credit. Snow Econ we can draw into. Yeah, we're on no credits. All right, we can get it just oppoed here. We have to get rid of that. We won't cup it. We'll just click for 2, but yeah, this looks kind of... Oh, wait, we need a charge. Sorry. I think I need to install for Pally. You mind if I undo click? Like if we install, we're still in a bad spot. Well, so it's a bit risky. So it's just a Luana, which is fine. Boomer's actually really good for Grubber there. Yeah, it's good to like pre-install this. It's free and it gives us like the ability. The problem is she res the thing slightly too aggressively. Like in theory, you can wait for us to fully pass priority, but like it's super reasonable. But this just puts us on 1 credit, so we still get oppoed. But quick question: in Jaden, should I ask my opponent in chat if they're going to access? It depends on the board state. I watched a tournament. Jai, what happened against you and was it against Man in the Moon? In a tournament, you did an archives run and didn't ask for access, and he popped a spin and you jacked out. Were you on voice comms? Because I thought that was going to be super awkward. In theory, it's good practice to ask for access. On certain board states, it doesn't matter. But if they're going to force a spin doctor or potentially access something, I always ask, do you want to access? On JNet, you don't need to if people follow the window. Yeah, we did go too low in credits. In JNet, you don't technically need to, but it is not bad to. Okay, so I don't like what we did here because the boomerang is now on the scrubber, where in theory we need a boomerang on HQ because we need to just go in and steal whatever the tag punishment is. We also need to grab a card with compilation to run back. It's not unlikely with 3 bad publicity we could maybe run HQ for free. We could just try and win this turn. This is why you should cup the Holloman. Oh yeah, I should have cupped the Holloman to play around. 100% I should have cupped the Holloman, yeah. Yeah, both to have fuel, but also play around Oppo. Yeah, very, very good point. We both agreed he jumped the gun on that. I hadn't clicked the continue run button. Oh, that feels so bad. I would have called the judge, I think. But that's sporting of him to be like, yeah, it's on me. All right, we're just going to full send. She has more money if we don't deal with the Luana. My original intent was to just break Ches for 20 counters. Yeah, accessing was dangerous. So like it's not super surprising that you didn't. All right, so now yeah, the grubber is a bad boomerang. I don't know. I don't like what we did. Yeah, let's just see a bunch of cards because we want to couple it the important card. We don't care. Seamless, I don't care. Steel, we'll take that. Well, Hermes, I think the ice. I don't think the upgrade matters. We can see 2 on R&D, so we know the hand is Seamless, Piranhas, and another ice. There's nothing we can draw into here that really helps, but she might not have the tag punishment, so we just want to use the twinning while we can. I can't tell you what this upgrade is. IP enforcement, okay, that's a good thing to cup. The back room. That's a bad thing to see after. All right, so that removes a tag. She gets 1 point. That's not too bad. Holloman we could trash. I don't think we'd mind if she draws us, and she will definitely draw it because of Luana. We have 2 pinholes, so a pinhole in hand will be fine. So at least we have this. We could go back and see most of the hand, but we've seen all besides 1 card in the hand. Yeah. You can cup the R&D upgrade. It was a Holloman, so yeah, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, Hollow was the upgrade. Yeah, excuse me, you're right. That makes more sense. Sindarin, how's it going? So she's not going to draw it. She can move it over if she wants. We could pinhole this Luana to stop her. She does shuffle the deck if she wants to because she gets the bad publicity back. In theory, the Luana here is we only have 2 bad publicity, so she does cost a credit. So she's a bit tricky. I think we want to force her to trash this thing. Ooh, sure gamble Bravado. Bravado is way easier to play. That was a good catch off the top of the deck. We'll see what happens here. All right, she's resing the Holloman. Now, I don't know why exactly. Oh, just to get it to safety, but there's only 1 3-2 in her list probably. So unless she has the 4-2 fast advance card. So she drew an unknown card. She has a seamless. The Luana is sapping our bad publicity, so like we're losing value, but she eventually needs to use the server, so we'll just get it back at some point. She's kind of incentivized to trash the twinning as much as we didn't charge it, but it's easy for us to charge it this turn. Like Paladin Pueblo was actually even worth trashing. My arm is sore, but I'm technically now on vacation. Hey, hopefully it's been good. Did you hurt yourself or just like, you know, we're getting to that age? Yeah, the twinning's gone. Okay, we have another one. This has to be like a ping here. I think we're pretty okay to bravado into it. On 2 credits, we don't get blown out by anything. In theory, we have 1 bad publicity, so we just can bravado R&D for a single. New tattoo. Oh, sick. Okay, that's a good thing. That's a good reason to be sore, I reckon. Public plaza. We don't care about public access plaza. We'll draw. It's only the Datecast is a bit strange. We actually probably do have to pinhole the Luana because I think it's giving her too much money and now she's poor. So we will. It shuffles the deck though, so our R&D access is a bit strange. But like we can run the server for free, so we'll just deal with the Luana and force a shuffle. It's not like public access is not very good, so we should have done this in the other order. But we'll get our bad publicity back. And if she draws an agenda, like we're forcing it with IP enforcement. So she just went and got another Luana. I mean, okay, yeah, you can't do that. Paladin. Oh, we have to discard something. Oh, I don't want to. I want to use you. You're free money. We don't actually need it. Do we not want to gamble that turn? I think we have to deal with the Luana because her being on 2 credits is the best thing for us. She has another Luana, but we can run that Luana with 3 bad publicity. That's my read on it. I think Paladin Pueblo, we don't have things to install. Yeah, we'll be fine. Lower editorial can't tutor agendas? Yes. How's it going, by the way? I thought she was going to gap like a scapegoat or something. So install? She still hasn't seen a transfer. Transfer actually would be pretty sick here. Luana fetching Luana is actually a funny answer to pinhole. Yeah, so this looks like Luana. We can run it for free. So we can do credit, gamble, check. And it gets the Holloman down too. I do think sooner than later. No. What are we doing? Yeah, like she has a back room. She just doesn't want to clear the tag, which makes sense. She could be sneaking out an agenda here, considering she knows we have the Luana. The deck non-transfer? No, it's control crim. I'll take no further questions. So Luana, and we'll deal with the Holloman. Okay, cool. So on 3 bad publicity, we can run R&D, we can run HQ. Cupping HQ is okay. I think we can even consider running archives at some point. It's a doom scroll. Okay, that costs real bullets. We have to break, well, not all of it. We're going to just take more tags. Questions? Yeah, me too. Another doom scroll. Okay, not a bad draw. She only has 1 credit. This was such a good draw, but if she grabbed the agenda, like she can't really do much with the agenda in this remote server because this remote server is, we want to farm the ping just so that the grubber doesn't do anything. But every turn we should just draw, run R&D. We should check archives too. I mean, probably it's not the daily cast, but has it been there since like turn 3? I mean, that makes sense. All right. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Okay, so her opening was a bit strange. There's 8 points in there. Hey, good game. No Hermes. There's the triple spin was very funny. But then you spun the spins back. Yeah, so I don't know why she spun the spins back. I think you can do halfway through it. Admittedly, like we had 2 more clean getaways. If we drew one, we wouldn't have thrown in archives for fun. But yeah, editorial does feel like if it draws bad, it doesn't have a game plan. It's like very, very linear. Yeah. I'm surprised I didn't catch a scapegoat or some other punishment. I should have. Yeah. She did open with 3 spindos. I know. And like, maybe that means it is really bad. But you should be able with 3 spindos to fix it, right? Like you can use 1 spindo to overdraw to discard, 2nd spindo. So like the fact that she overinstalled a spindo on top of a spindo means that she couldn't fix it. Hey, oh, hi, Duna. How's it going? Sorry, noob off-topic question. Never have to apologize. That previous comment about Man in the Moon match, asking if they wanted to access archives on Spin Doctor, is it an etiquette thing? Or, yeah, let me talk about that in a second. Just give me 1 second to mention what exactly happened. Just didn't find any good ice early, and then all agendas reopened stream. The issue with the agendas didn't show up until... okay, that makes more sense. I don't know why I'm typing while I'm talking to you. Also, Lucy, good game. Yeah, the 3rd spin through the 2 agendas. Okay, yeah. And I mean, like your editorial, you jam and that's it, right? And like you're clearly were jamming aggressively, and we saw 2 aggressive jams. I didn't think there would be that much worse, right? So it's not exactly etiquette. It is like protocol and being careful. When you're playing a competitive tournament, it is in your best interest to like make sure that you're not cutting corners. In theory, like if you're playing against someone you know well, you could consider cutting corners, but that's not the point. This is not meant to be a judgment about like who did what right, who is not friendly. That's not the point. Both of these players are really nice people. So the thing is, there was this play here, which is a bit of an interesting play. Well, the idea is that so Jai wanted to run archives to be able to use, I think it was a Trickster Taka. It's much worse. Thanks for the game. I stepped away to dinner, came back to 14 agenda points. There was 8 points in archives, yeah. But we ended up with a lot of tags, and we're just trying to find the points at the end. Okay, so how can I show this? Okay, I guess we just explain it. So Jai was running archives through ice. I'm pretty sure, and I might be misremembering it, but I think he was using Trickster Taka, which Trickster Taka's stealth credits. You want to use them because if she gets too ripe with credits, she does bad things to you, right? Jai toxic narrator content creator beef. So that was the idea. So the archives run went through ice to use Trickster Taka. In theory, the proper protocol when you play in person is right before you go to access, there's a blast paidability window. So your corporation should ask the runner, do you want to access? And if your runner consents and says yes, then there's one final paidability window. And so if you're running archives and there's agendas in archives, right? That is the last window which Spin Doctor has to be used. So unfortunately, Man in the Moon did not ask, do you want to access? And just fired the Spin Doctor a bit too early. And then Jai technically was within his rights in the rules structure to jack out, which is what he intended to do anyways. He just got a free Spin Doctor for free. Jai didn't make that run to try to chase the Spin Doctor out. It just happened, and Man in the Moon missed it. Now, there's 2 ways on JNet that you can do this, right? It was Cheza twinning. Oh, excuse me. It was Cheza twinning. Okay. So regardless, it was a reason to run to use these counters to basically fill a twinning. That was what Taka was probably doing anyways, even if she wasn't full. But the idea is there was an incentive to run anyways, because using these credits for the sake of just using them, the run was free just to charge the twinning, which is a win condition. That's super important. Anyways, technically, when I play in person, even if it doesn't matter, I'll always ask my opponent access, and then they say yes, and then usually there's no other paid ability windows unless they're forcing a spin doctor, just to make sure that this doesn't happen. It usually doesn't happen. 90% of the time, it doesn't matter. When we just played against, earlier today, we played against Meteor, and we flatlined Meteor to a virus. And that's the sort of thing, is as soon as Meteor says, yes, I want to access, he can no longer jack out unless he has a paid ability that says he can jack out. So I can just res him a virus, and he has to hit it, right? Because the text on this card has to be resed for this to fire. So we can res it in that last paid ability window, and he can no longer jack out. Technically, we mess it up, and we res him a virus too early, and then Meteor said, I didn't consent to access. He's within his rights to jack out. So you just have to get the right paid timing window ability. And the easiest way to do it is say, do you want to access? Now, I do that on paper. A lot of people don't do it. A lot of people understand what's going on, but I think it's always worth checking. It takes a second. If you're doing it on every single axis when it doesn't matter, you might be annoying. I am technically annoying. I do it more than most people, but I think it's worth it. And I think it also gets in your opponent's head in a healthy way, in a fun way. Anyways, on JNet, it's not technically necessary. Some people, when they play in competitive tournaments, are in voice chat with the person they're playing against. Some people are not. They can just listen to music and chill. But in JNet, there is a window. It says right before you access, you can hit a button that says, I have no more actions. Technically, if your opponent says no more actions, they have functionally consented to the last paid ability window, and they said they're not going to jack out anymore. I find that window a bit confusing on JNet because I can't tell whether that window is on the approach or on the movement step or on the access step. They all look very similar. And so I always ask in chat anyways, just to be clear of it. Technically, Jai did not hit the full consent button, and Man of the Moon just kind of like, quick fired a bit too soon. It's technically his fault. If he called the judge over and been like, I misunderstood, could I take the spin doctor back? I don't know what the judge would have said. They might have been okay with it. Technically, he revealed information, and Jai can really respond to it in the paid ability speed. So it probably would have been an okay take back, but Man of the Moon realized that was just a literal error and kind of let it lie. Did it matter for the game? I don't know if it actually was super important, but it was just free value that was not good. I mean, sometimes I intend to spin shuffle cards back because I want to redraw them anyways. Yeah, worth noting on JNet, there's a line of text that says runner will continue the run that indicates they're committing to access. Yes, there is a line that shows that the runner has committed to the access. I am not good at telling you what that line of the text is because there's a lot of lines of text on a lot of the different checkpoints. They feel similar. So I always just double check. What I'm doing is not required. It's not necessary. I'm just very averse of getting into a situation like that. But I was surprised that Man of the Moon did not ask for a take back. Yeah, because I think he would have been granted it. I respect it either way. Jai was definitely not angle shooting. It was just a misunderstanding. So if you wanted to be very clear in chat, you could say I don't want to access, but that's also kind of weird. So yeah, checkpoints, huh? Got you. Thanks so much for giving me the rundown. Yeah, of course, my pleasure. I think the best thing you can do as a player is just always ask if it matters. Do you want to access? And they say yes. And as soon as they said yes, a paid ability window opens. Technically, they have priority in the paid ability window because they're running on the runner's turn, but they would have done something at this point already. So you can go ahead and fire your spin doctor, res your trap, do your dastardly something, and then they have a window to respond to it, but they can't jack out. It's a very important window. So use it well. One of the ways that this is actually very, very important, and luckily the AU code decks are not doing it, is say that I put an Urtica cipher on the table and the runner runs it. This will do 2 net damage. It has no advancements. And they're about to run it. And right before they make a successful access, or the run's about to be successful, I say, do you want to access? And they say yes. One of the things you can do is now they're committed to the access. They can't jack out. In a new remote server, you can res a moon pool. You can remove a moon pool from the game. You can take 2 agendas from your hand, throw them out, or get 2 agendas in archives, and then at immediate speed, go put those 2 advancements that the moon pool generates on the Urtica cipher, and the Urtica cipher suddenly will do 4 net damage, which could be lethal. Again, you're allowed to do this at the last window after they consent to access, and they cannot jack out. So that's a very important key window in the game, and you can use it to be very, very mean in intended ways. Yeah, truth at home. That's kind of sick. Yeah, there's lines that this matters. There was a bunch of decks back in the day that if you can move advancements at instant speed, you can do this. For instance, you could be playing NBN and be playing what's it called? Edition. You could play Remastered Edition as soon as they access at immediate speed, you move your counter over to your Check of Scion to give them another tag. And they've committed. They can't jack out. Unless they have the one card in the game that says they can jack out, in which they can fire this now because it's a paid ability. You can just jack out for fun. Try to make this clear on NRO because if you're in a window where you're not doing anything, will result in the runner approaching the server, then continue button says runner approaches server. Yeah, but don't be afraid to call judge. I think that's really important. If you're ever worried about it, if you're playing online or in person, just call a judge over and be like, hey, judge, I'm not 100% sure how does this window work? And they'll walk you through it. At the end of the day, the judge is not there to like throw game losses out. They just want to make an equitable board state and also or like game state for everyone. And they also want to make it so that you understand what's happening, like why this is happening for what reason. But yeah, just ask for a window. Do you want access? They say yes. There's a paid ability window. Then we're accessing or we're technically breaching. I just don't know on JNet what the text is technically. We'll pay attention to it, but we'll only see the runner side of it. But that's why I don't want to mash like the consent button because it's just not good. Sometimes you end up in a bad spot. This deck is not really great, is it? We're going to continue doing it one more time. I don't think we've played enough to editorial twice. What's the chance of that? That's weird. That's genuinely weird. Hermes is the best card in our deck, it turns out. Hey. So against editorial, you just need to get money quickly and be able to get in the remote server quickly. We have open market and gateway, getaway, excuse me, clean gateway. We have 2 breakers and some money. We have no card draw. So like, this is like maybe a bit of a weird keep. The window I have trouble remembering is Phaserum versus Mitra. Yeah, even like Mavirus versus Phaserum is one I have to think about. I'm very guilty of just mashing through pumps during runs. Yeah, you probably shouldn't. It doesn't benefit you. Besides like, I guess, mental load saving, but like they can res something and you just kind of consented away to not respond to it. You probably should be able to respond to it. People don't. I see finding the same ID twice and Jaden Casual self-correcting for competitive decks in the wild. I mean, I'm gonna mulligan this. It's not bad. This is better. It's much easier for the judge to help explain to fix any issue if you call for a judge before continuing to do things. Well, not fully. Yeah, if you don't know a thing, just call a judge before you do it. And you can just like walk away from the table, whisper into the judge, be like, I'm going to do this. Is this the correct way? The judge will say yes. And then they can even watch you do it and then like step in if something bad's gonna happen. But yeah, just ask. Usually you want to ask before you mess up because sometimes it's harder to fix. All right, we are control. If we do nuke a draw and don't draw an economy card, we're cooked. They mulligan. We don't have to do boomerang bravado. We want boomerang for the remote server because that's the push. I think, man, this sucks actually. I think if we do this, we're going to be on 7 cards with 5 credits. Unless we draw a sure gamble, we're in a bad spot. This is doable. This is actually doable. VSA, good to know. That's a good ice against us. Yeah, we have to find one of our 2 things because boomerang against VSA is a bit ugly. We go over Pally early. That's good. I think we only have one of her. We're pushing. We always can just do like Hermes run R&D. 2 ice, so probably VSA the ping. Let's go find a reason to run R&D. Okay, we have all our breakers already. That's pretty good. If they score out, we're weak to editorial. We're sorry, not editorial, to the one with the guy on the pillar. But we're gonna be strong to the other one. We want to play a thing and make money. So we could just bravado HQ. How bad could it be? No, with Hermes, we want to keep HQ. We don't have transfer though. Like this is free, which is good. Open market for 1 extra credit feels a bit bad. We can just show the Cat's Cradle. Cat's Cradle breaks 2 for VSA, which sucks. The open market gives us money now. But we're just control. This plays around crypto seamless, I guess. But it's worse than 2. Again, I forget the name of the 4-2 that gives us 3 tags. You know the one. So them resing VSA for 3. Like imagine we run this with the what's it called? Wow, man, tread lightly. They have to pay, what is it, 7 for a VSA? No, 6 for a VSA. It's pretty good. All right, we could get a Hermes bounce here. And then we'll probably install a card. We need to find our twinning. YDL, okay, that's money. So we've seen 2 of their cards so far. We've interacted. We haven't stolen their trash. I think we can still draw once, and we want to do a nice as install if we can. We don't have a good as install here. So I think we're just going to slowly produce our breakers. We don't have big burst money. 6 is like awkward because they can like crypto us pretty bad. YDL, they have money. Haul them in? Oh, that thing's going to happen. Oh, okay. So if they trash an open market with an open HQ, we're not too upset about it. Funny enough, they could have done the YDL after, but maybe they needed the money. Okay, so we just have a tag to clear. Could be worse. Now, this is probably the only 3-2 they're playing. Maybe they're not, so this Holloman doesn't have to go down. Makes more sense to wait for the open market discount. I mean, it kind of does, because we lose a credit on it. So it might be right to save this for as next turn, but we're going to draw into a hardware thing. Oh, I'm so used to drawing 2 cards a turn. I think we can Bravado HQ here. They probably can't res much. Disassembling the server is worth something. Like this has to be a ping. I guess it could be an F2P, which would kind of suck. Huge bravado on server 1. Yeah, the server 1 bravado is a fair bit better, honestly. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Should we have Hermes to remote ice? I mean, maybe, but then they have to respond. Like, the thing is, if we don't blow up the HQ ice, they could just hit us with tag punishment. This, now they're kind of incentivized to do this because then they don't just get blown out by transfer, right? Like, they have to respect transfer, and then they can't trash our open market or whatever. All right, so we probably remove a tag and just install a breaker. We definitely want to remove a tag here. Yeah, the bravado on server 1's pretty good. We know one of these is the VSA. We don't have to use Paladin this turn. I'm going to play around Oppo a bit and just click for credit. We probably should be drawing slightly more and throwing out the second revolver, though. Also, we blew up server 1 ice. Like, I don't know if they predict the last turn to get 3 and 3 because that's a bit risky. But, like, it just means they have to respond to it. Okay, do they have a YDL? Yeah, they do. That's hard to interact with. So now they have to respond. They didn't get transferred. So maybe they don't ice HQ. Double cast Cradle VSA for 4. I mean, yeah, maybe with Paladin, but we have the cheap curve here, which is really good. All right, we have to install something. That's really good. That's really good. Wow. Okay, so we're not going to use any of these credits, and we'll install this and start charging the twinning. And now the game is on. The question is, how often can we fire the twinning? It shouldn't be that hard. And so now the remote server push has to also hold on centrals, because anytime they put something on the Holoman, we can just like send it there. And like our breaker suite, there's no bad ballista yet, but they haven't played a vulture fund either. So I don't know who's happy. 2 cats, 2 cats. I mean, we might do 2 cats if Paladin has nothing else. I do think we probably want to run this turn. So, Pure Gamble run. They res VSA for 3. We can make it for 4. I wish we had a Bravado or a... We can draw once? No. We'll force a res here. I think we have enough credits to beat Valenchow. We have enough cards in hand to not beat VSA. Fine. So they res for 3. We break for 2. Still no bad pub. I missed the deck building time. Was the 4th or 5th MU for Cup and Leech? We have 1 Chesva and we have a Mantle. Does this have bad publicity? It's a Doom Scroll. Okay. So not that expensive. We don't want to break all the subroutines because they don't all matter. So we could risk Oppo here. It's an agenda. We get good Paladin. Oh, what the heck? We're going to Hermes this so they can't. So it's a dead Sam. That's not what I expected. We're on Oppo. We could trash this for 9. Like, it's hard for them to Oppo us. They didn't get anything here. We can just install the daily cast and we're up a credit. It's like clicking for credit, but it charges the twinning. We're in a really good spot. The server's not very good for them. Yeah, Hermes bounce is so bad when you steal it and there's no ice to res. Like, ideally, they res a bad publicity ice, I'm assuming. But, like, this is weird. This does feel a bit more like Netrunner circa 2016, 2015, like criminal, I guess. We're still running a fair bit, but, like, the daily casts are kind of just doing it for me. Like, just poke a bit, do some disruption. Okay, and then I'm going to just draw, set up. Like, and I think it's just how bad our click compression for draw is that it feels old school. I mean, that's a good way to define it. Okay, small oppo is not a big deal. Anytime that you oppo and you don't actually do something like put something in the remote server, it just means we can clear the tags. Let's say you lose 2 in a click, we lose 4 in 2 clicks, which, I mean, it's a bit better for you, but you also do need money, right? Like, look how good this is. We're now getting 4 a turn, right? Like, they needed to jam something in the server for us to be scared. Hermes Sam is the most soul-crushing way to learn about active, non-active player triggers. Yeah. At least when you score yours, you're okay. Okay, so they put this in the remote server with no advancements, but there's a Holoman. So we only lose to Seamless, which, I mean, I don't think we care. We're going to continue to set up, and then we just run R&D to C3 cards whenever we're happy. Oh, shame that we just lost our thing that installs this cheaper. Okay, Ches is fine. We can run R&D in C3. We could end up hitting a Behold and losing the game. It's not super likely outcome. I don't think bouncing this is also super necessary. So we could just like click for credit, but I think we should just draw, and which means Chesva install shouldn't have been right. We should have installed the open market to fire as. Yeah, that was a bad install. Actually, throwing out this also might be wrong too, but they haven't shown an end the run code gate if they're on retribution. Yeah, that turn was not optimal. At least we have open market into class act, which again, there's a good reason to install the open market this turn, so we can do class act next turn and fire as twice. So like very, very bad ordering and actively punished. Oh, Spin Doctor sick. All right, they have 10 in hand. They shuffled back 2 planograms, no YDLs. If they have a big YDL here, they're happy, but there's only 1 YDL left. What are they going to do with 10 cards in hand? They planogrammed into this. They have to have a YDL in hand. Otherwise, they drew 5 for fun. They don't have a YDL. No. Okay, so it looks like an amaze. If we find our cup, we're in a good spot. But I honestly don't think we have to run this. If we run this, if it's Hollowman, it's bad. So I think we do just run it because we want to beat Hollowman. We can draw once to get Bravado. Bravado would be really good for the server. There's still no bad publicity, which is hard to believe. Could also be a Spin Doctor. We could check archives. But again, this server costs us 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're still pretty healthy. The worst case is the Maze Amusements, but then we're on game point. I mean, I think we just check it. We can draw once for a Bravado. Oh, that's good too. Can't afford Hollow? Oh, he can't. Yeah, he can't. You're right. So yeah, maybe we actually don't have to run this. I think we just run R&D and see a bunch of cards and then get a bounce if we need to. And then we can just do open market class act if we don't clear tags. Grubber, planogram, let them dream. Okay. So no matter what, we'll bounce one of these. Random. We can just install open market, which will fire twinning. We can also class act right now. I don't think we're going to struggle to fire twinning next turn, so it's not that bad. It does suck though that we lost our... Oh, excuse me. Cool. Oh, we have Francifia. She shouldn't be in the deck. She's just not that good. I mean, okay, we'll play her, but I think we're gonna res one more ice before the game's over. And again, like this is the editorial issue. If you seemingly draw bad, there's no game plan. Ah, bummer. Yeah, no bad pub yet, huh? That can't be good. Yeah, and like look at this. This is like, you know, we are drawing 5 credits for free every turn. 6 credits start a turn trigger. It's nonsense. They didn't reinstall in server 1, so it doesn't seem to be that important. All right. So we can just do nonsense and just keep twinning every once in a while. It is what it is. They didn't draw anything this turn. Yeah, so we don't really want to run R&D. If anything, we should sweep HQ here. Playable if you use hardware, like how TTD is infinitely better than Ice Carver. I mean, probably still not, but it would help. The thing is that the fact that she's a resource means we have open market as, like, she... I mean, I guess if it's hardware, you could too. And then you could play Prognostic. Man, having this hardware sake of Prognostic, it would be sick. How does the idea with a repeatable tutor need to draw well? It's weird how it is. But like most of the bad publicity cards involve us interacting or our Vulture Fund. It's like very, very weird. Okay, so we can open market off of the open market or off Paladin. In theory, Paladin won't struggle next turn. Oh yeah, it's 1, so whatever. There's nothing we really have to do here. Like the Francifia Award is just rude, but actually we shouldn't install it because we want to fire twinning. I think we can just run HQ here pretty safely, but then we should install the Francifia Award. We should install it before the open market. Whatever, we'll do it anyways. This could be risky. We could end up with 2 tags, so it's a bit sketch. The kicker in Francifia is a wall worse than 1 on TTD. Yes, the kicker is awful. Why is 15? It's such a high number. This could have been like 8. Could have been 10. 15 is nonsense. They had to pay 6 for the scrubber, which feels good. They also give a bad publicity so they can search. We can break this. It is a bit expensive, so we probably won't. But they did pay 6 for a grubber, which feels good. Like imagine resing a code gate, like a VSA for 4. They got a Nyla. Okay, we're not worried about that. We can let this fire. They did shuffle the deck though, so we can run R&D and C3. They shuffled for us. If you want to be real control, you could swap out Francifia for Amelia. You're not wrong. I just don't think we have enough multi-axis consistently. It's like if we don't draw 20, we got nothing. I think if you play Amelia, you need more multi-axis. We know there's... I'm not going to pay 6 for a single. Okay, so they just shuffled. So they shouldn't be able to res a 1-cost ice, so we can see 3 fresh cards. End of line. Ooh. Hey, good game. Saw an end of the line there on the top. Do you have Public Trail? Thanks, you too. Yeah, I wasn't going to play around Public Trail, but their money was never good, and our money was pretty good for a while. But like end of line Public Trail is a thing that can get you out of nowhere. Oh, nice. Yeah, because Public Trail is a gray ops, right? That doesn't matter. You need to get bad publicity, but like Ooh, very cool. Yeah. So we just need to keep our money up for that. Which, like, again, we're dripping good money. Again, 3 daily casts, 3 open markets feels pretty cool. This is definitely not an optimal deck. We don't have enough time to test this more because it's functionally midnight. But this sort of like runner, like we have been running every single turn, but I feel good not running on certain turns with this ass deck, which is kind of cool. And I wanted to swing into that a bit more. The 3 revolvers feel fine. Again, we've played against 2 editorial decks. We have so little like data points to work off of, but like the revolvers seem totally fine. Think Sam over NBT or both. I understand why they would want to play Sam. NBT seems good because it kind of like fixes things and you're a combo deck as NBN, but like I could see why you want Rose Grubber for free. Oh, no way. Oh, get out. Hopefully it's been all right. It's been a lot of fun lately. Yeah, Velma Steiner is our Arkham Horror channel. If you're not familiar, we've been streaming Hemlock Vale. It's been a lot of fun. Hey, thanks for the game as well. Cool. We can see one more card, I guess. Oh, no, they have to do a trigger. All right. That's going to be it for us today. We might be back Saturday morning. It looks like we might be streaming a couple of the last rounds for the Summer Showdown. Sorry, is it the Summer Showdown? The European Summer Showdown. I think that's right. So huge thank you to all these names here and more to support the channel so we can do stuff like this. Whether it's streaming for 5 hours on a Tuesday afternoon with or without Pat's an absolute treat. Of course, we've been doing Thursday night streams for a long time now. And it's an absolute pleasure. So all these names here and our daily cast patrons allow this stuff to happen at the way it does. And I'm so grateful for that. If you want to support the channel, mind you, you can find a link into the description for Patreon. Any amount is incredibly appreciated. I promise you it is. On that note too, if your name is here and you want to put like a little logo next to your name, some people have that. You can do that. You can just hit me up either through email or you can find me on Discord and I'd be happy to get that in for you. Showdown in 30 hours. Yeah, Showdown is really soon. There's a bunch of events this weekend. So there's a mega city in Australia. There's a mega city just like 7 hours south in the States. If you're going there, have a great time. The coolest people have their own logo. Tell me about it, Darian. Looking forward to filling in the gaps in the VOD. Thanks for stream. Thanks for hanging out, Shanraz. Should me and Lonari on comms day one? Oh, perfect. I think I'm meant to be the back half of day one, but I'm not sure who's meant to be on comms with me. And it's a weird thing too, because like the comms with the showdown is on my channel usually when it's on my channel, but I don't have a say who's on the comms. They've been good so far, but like, I don't know. I fear the worst case scenario. Atlanta CTK this weekend. Have fun, Diogenes. That's gonna be quite fun too. Vilma Steiner is never on when I can watch, but I'm starting to binge the VODs. It's been fun. Glad you've been enjoying it. Hey, thanks, Andre. Thanks for hanging out. Arkham mentioned. Yeah, Arkham mentioned for sure. With that, enjoy yourself. Have a good weekend of Netrunner. Good luck. Have fun. And we'll be back on a Tuesday. Or we'll be back on Sunday, but also on Tuesday. Yeah. Ciao.